What did I see then you swinging? What did I see then you swinging? That funny old tune will drive me to ruin. It came along and made me its slave. Now I'm craving things that I should crave. It came along and made me its slave. Now I'm craving things that I should crave.
Hi everyone, how are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. Let me go to the top and see what I missed. Excuse me. Like Max says, please go to the customer review section of this item, which I have up, which we'll go over. Batty Bell with 100 bits says, I came to the realization today that I'm a little gender fluid and I'm okay with any all pronouns. Well, that's nice. Good for you. What else? What else? Is that it? That's it. Nope, I'm addicted with one. My supervisor was super understanding. I'm so relieved. Nice. About what? Wait, about what? Did I miss one? Or was there just one that wasn't? A bits message. Or is my thing not scrolling up all the way? I don't know. H. Baird, thanks for extending your subscription through May. Appreciate it. Okay, so to start off, let me turn this down. I'm sorry, I'm all of a sudden in a really bad mood. Prior to starting the stream for this, I watched the Adam Toledo video, and now I'm pretty. It's not good. Is that it's supposed to be a Roman numeral 4? 4 gigabyte. Let's go with that. Thanks for subscribing at tier 1 with 6 months in advance. Wow, 6 months of tier 1. Thank you. I appreciate that. MMO Addicted says, I told y'all yesterday about my mental health deteriorating to the point that it impacted my work recently, and that I was worried if my university supervisor will not understand, as it's Poland. Oh yeah, I do remember. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Well, I'm glad they were understanding. What video is that? It was the video that was just released of a Chicago cop shooting a 13-year-old who had his hands up. So we're going to cover that. Obviously, I can't show the video. I can't show a child being murdered by the police on Twitch. But we'll talk about it. Are we on a hype train? We are on a hype train. We're at 2% of level 2. Other than that, though, we don't have a ton today. We're going to cover the shooting, which is awful. We're going to cover Elliot Hulse, I think, who has a video about... Hold on. Has a video called 3 Steps to Combat Effemininity. So we'll check that out. We got a whole bunch of right-wing cope. I thought it might be fun to take a look at Conservapedia. I think I kind of want to start a new segment where we look at Conservapedia somewhat regularly and look at different articles and stuff. Bardlock Moses with 100 bits says, all cops are bastards. And Coco Pup Studios, thank you for subscribing at tier 1. KR Goss, thank you for the 1,000 bits, says, so excited my kiddo socially transitioned and made the high school boys volleyball team. The coach and teammates are so supportive of him. Oh, that's great. I'm glad. So that's the article we're going to read on that. This is a Patriot Depot. I thought it would just be kind of funny to see what different right-wing products they're selling on here and, you know, that kind of stuff. RTK says, if it helps if you actually give the bits. That's how far out of it I am today. And then Felix Night Owl says, I was listening to right-wing ringers' misunderstanding of Biden's Title 10 reform. Was wondering, do you know how many people abroad, say Europeans, feel about the issue of abortion, majority pro-life or pro-choice? I have no idea. Zozo Horror Show with 40 bits says, hello, I'm having a bad day. Came to cringe myself to death on Chud idiocy. Well, you came to the right place. Let me see if is there any Jeremy videos? Batty Bell, thank you for gifting 10 subs to the community. Appreciate it. RTK says, also seriously, we need a mass report call of a glitter kitten. I reported at least thrice for ban evasion bullying. Yeah, I know he made a video about me. I haven't taken a look, and I don't think I'm gonna. I'm sure it's bad, though. Ooh, 19% to level 5. Nice. Siberian Winter with 40 bits says, came to see some chuds to keep myself based. You're very based. Oh god, he's got a new Brie Larson video. We gotta watch that, obviously. Am I even legally allowed to not cover when Jeremy does a Brie Larson video? Apparently Nerdrotic hates WandaVision for some reason. Just the standard she's so funny shit. Bardlock Moses says, F call for an uprising and F YouTube. It's literally the same thing he said in the last Rainbow video. Yeah, probably, still. I guess we'll see what he thinks about WandaVision and no BS. Still thinks that's just a video we watched previously, so that's fine. 53% to the level 5. We're very close with 3 minutes left. What does his wife think about the Brie Larson thing? I don't know. I could ask her boyfriend, but he's probably busy. I don't know, buying Jeremy Fortnite cards or whatever her boyfriend does when she's busy. I shouldn't make that joke. That joke is beneath me. which is impressive considering I'm a bottom. Not many things are beneath me. Logarth says again, no BS does not represent cows or cow furries, just for the record. Well, thank you, Logarth. Bardlock Moses says, isn't no BS demonetized? I think he is, which is probably why he hasn't posted any videos to his YouTube channel in like a month. One sec. Sorry, I'm out of it today. That footage screwed me up, and that kind of stuff doesn't normally bother me, but that one got to me for some reason. I don't know why. Obviously, it's horrible, so I understand why, but normally I'm pretty good at absorbing stuff like that, but like that one was just bad. That XY girl says, a Discord I'm part of has a silence bottom emote. That's a good one. Tentacly Alien Man, thank you for gifting a sub. Puka the Duka, thanks for 200 bits. Bitter Grin, thanks for 100. Baja says, nothing is below you unless I tell you to be on top of me, and you have to listen like a good Ooh. Did I watch the Lindsay Ellis video? Not yet, no. I've heard some of the discourse on it. 0M80, thanks for subscribing with 4 months. 5 months to go. Yeah. Sushi Mom with 300 bits says, it was very bad. I'm sorry you're upset. We're all here, and we're all here with you. Everyone in chat needs to be very careful on social media if they don't want to see the footage. Yeah, I feel bad. This is a weird thing. And even this conversation is going to be self-centered. It's selfish. Because what right do I have to make that shit about me, right? A child lost their life. This is yet another, like trauma to the black community, or not even to the black community. I don't know I don't think he was black. To minority communities who have to deal with this stuff with the cops. And here I am, just some white person, like, being like, oh, I was emotionally affected by this. So it's not about me. It's not about me at all. It's about the fact that that kid had his life taken away by a cop who just was such a bitch that the second the kid did what he said and stopped and put his hands up, he freaked out and shot him. Like, I need to get the fuck over it. I'm trying to cover this stuff. Like, I can't be getting this personal about it. Logarth says, this stream is getting spicy. This is way more my speed. And then MMO Addicted says, someone's thirsty tonight to Baja. I should cover Lindsay Ellis. It's an hour or something long. I'm not going to cover her whole video, but maybe I'll cover it a little bit after I watch it sometime. He was Hispanic? Yeah, I thought so. Thank you for the level 5 hype train, everyone. I appreciate it. Pyromancer says, is it too much to ask that Twitch alert me when someone starts streaming? So you got to follow me on Twitter, @HannahReloaded, and the Discord. You'll get notifications from those. AKDJR, thanks for following. I appreciate that. Coolio. Let's start with some right-wing cope. Just some silly stuff to get our mind on some better things, or some less serious things, okay? So, it's been a while since we did Chud Watch. It is time for more right-wing cope. Let's get into it, shall we? Oh god, Europeans posting their wins online, and then it's someone with a German flag on them who's like a Pepe Chad, but like a Pepe Chad circa 2015 based on the hairdo. And it says, this girl is 15 and you're 28. Why are you dating her? Because it's legal in this country. It's so interesting to me that currently the fringe of the Republican Party is obsessed with accusing other people of pedophilia. But, like, a big portion of those same people post memes like this about how they want to bang underage girls. Like, methinks that the projection is strong. Not a great look, guys. Due to COVID-19, we're asking rioters to work at home and destroy their own stuff. Jokes. When I die, don't let me vote Democrat. Oh my god. Anyone else notice that the flu was magically cured this year? No, it wasn't. There were lower instances of the flu, though, because people have been social distancing, staying at home more, and wearing masks, which honestly helps for any disease that can spread via particulates in the air. Funny how that works. Which is why I'm probably going to be wearing masks during flu season from now on. Y'all canceling people for saying the N-word, but not leprechauns for creating a false image of Irish people. When I see the Leprechaun films, which are masterpieces, by the way, starring Star Wars and Harry Potter alumni Warwick Davis, I often think, this is an accurate depiction of an Irish person. Especially Leprechaun Back to the Hood. That's the one that definitely makes me go, I have a pretty good handle on Irish culture, okay? Here's Matt Gaetz hanging out with a bunch of high school girls, which should be very concerning to anyone who's watched the news in the past month. There's no age that you can't be sexy, and Matt Gaetz replies, I say we change Florida's welcome sign to this. Again, the projection, pretty strong. This is annoying to me too. Like, okay, here's an individual who was shot recently by the cops. Here he is, an image of himself with a gun. And a bunch of right-wingers are like, this is who he really is, and then these same idiots will have pictures of themselves with guns. This one at least looks like the guy might be hunting or something, but I also saw, here's one, yeah, this guy's also being an idiot and pointing a gun at the camera, which I don't think you should do in the first place. I think it's irresponsible, but I also think in this country you have a Second Amendment right to own a gun. As it stands right now, the gun laws are you can own a gun, and if you want to be an idiot with that gun, as long as you're not endangering other people and pose for cringy pictures with that gun, you can do that. I don't know if you know this, but posting cringy pictures online of you being a super badass with your gun doesn't deserve a death sentence. I know. How could I say something so bold? It's crazy. Keep America free, Trump 2020, national news equals fake news, and it's got a sweet monster truck on the top. That's on brand. F your face diaper. F your submission muzzle. Ah, yes, doctors for the past 100 years wearing their submission muzzles during surgery. The only reason you know the names of every person killed in police encounters is because it's rare. If it was a systematic issue, then the names would be innumerable. They are pretty innumerable. Do we want to look at, can we look at list of people shot by police since, I don't know, 2000? Let's just go like the past 20 years or something. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. I also like the implication that, like, there's a certain number of unwarranted killings by the police that would be okay. Like, whoopsie, that one's just an accident, so it's fine. Oh boy. Let's see, this goes pre-2009 up until here. The fact that it's already being not only divided by year, but months of the year onto separate Wikipedia pages kind of makes me think it's probably pretty bad. Let's just look at 2019. January, February, March. I don't know. Here are 3 random months. This is January of 2019. Yeah, this is a pretty big list. This is a pretty darn big list. Look at this. It just keeps going. There we go. That's January. Here's February. Here's another big list. I don't mean to laugh about this. It's not funny that these people were killed by the police. Some of them, and again, this is just all killings by law enforcement officers. So some of these people could have legitimately been, you know, trying to shoot at the police or something. But I bet a decent number weren't. So, to say that, like, oh, no one gets killed by the cops, you only hear about... No, a lot of people get killed by the cops regularly, to the point that every month of the year, there is a separate Wikipedia page for police killings. Here's a visualization. Thank you, Sushi Mom.
Let's find out. In this visualization, I'm going to show all reported police killings in the UK and US from January 1st, 2009 to June 7th, 2020. Note, my data source is Wikipedia's list of all killings by law enforcement officers, which includes every incident regardless of whether it was in the right or in the wrong. As the article states, the list makes no implication regarding the wrongdoing or justification on the part of the person killed or officer involved. It's just a list. Despite that, I think this visualization can still paint a general picture of the police's overall effect on each country's population. Also, the Wikipedia list does have citations linking to reputable news articles describing each killing. For this visualization, I've scaled the UK's blue region to be exactly 1/5 the size of the US's red region. So if the two countries do face the same rates of police killings, we should see a similar density of marks throughout both regions. As you can see, that isn't the case. The y-axis measures age, which means younger victims show up lower and older victims show up higher. As you can see, many are of unknown age. Thirdly, white X's depict victims whose names are known, and gray X's depict victims whose names are not known. Deaths that were widely reported in the news, or were notable for other reasons, are shown in green, and have a picture attached to them.
Jesus Christ, it just keeps going. It just keeps going. Let's just get to the end of this so to get the final-ish numbers. So, in this period, there were 26 killings by police in the UK, and over that same period, 16,894 in the United States. So there you go. I don't think I need to add any commentary to that. I think that pretty much stands on its own as a statistic. We are from Oregon. We are the maskless family. We've been 86'd and kicked out of multiple stores. Registers turned off on us. Cops called. We will not be intimidated. We pulled our kids from school. Not going to play this game. Pure evil. Those poor kids. Those are going to be some socially maladapted children. I get it. Ah, no, I can't watch that one. That's about the accidental discharge. Yeah, this is ridiculous. This shooting. After showing body camera footage of the fatal shooting, Brooklyn Center Police Chief says he believes the officer who shot Daunte Wright intended to use a taser but mistakenly drew her service revolver and shot him. Revolver's a weird word. I think police normally use pistols, not revolvers. But no, I don't believe that. This is just my personal opinion, obviously, but I don't believe that. The taser and the gun look nothing apart, and they're worn on different sides of the body. If she legitimately went to go for her taser, which should be over here, and instead went for her gun, she is the most negligent person to ever hold a firearm. So I don't believe that. I really, really don't. Same thing here. Apparently, if you are a non-white person who poses with their guns, you're a criminal who deserves to be shot dead in the street by the police with no trial. But if you're Donald Trump Jr. or one of these idiots, then posing with guns all of a sudden makes you a patriot. Boy, what's the factor that's different here? I wonder. Cleanse for when we want it. We're gonna need it. Thank you. Virginia cop that pepper sprayed and pulled a gun on black army officer got fired. Deserves to be prosecuted. Ridiculous. The cops are... Are the cops getting worse? Or is the reporting just getting better? I legitimately don't know at this point. Like, are they agitated because they're finally getting at least a little bit held to account for this shit? Not a ton, bear in mind. People are just pointing it out. So are they just agitated? Like, oh my god, people are actually paying attention to our malfeasance now, and they're more on edge than normal? It's just crazy. Absolutely insane. Look at him, too. He's holding it like this, like it's sideways. What a jackass.
Lieutenant, get out of the car. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. You made this way more difficult than it had to be if you just complied. Get out of the car.
I'm reaching for my seatbelt.
Fine. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. Straight onto the ground. Straight on.
The fact that this guy is keeping his composure while pepper sprayed and under threat of his life being taken away by this racist pig fucking cop. That's some, like, no one should have to deal with that situation, but mad fucking props for his ability to do so.
Onto the ground.
Ma'am, is your commanding officer available?
Down. Let's go.
Is your commanding
Let's
officer
go.
available?
Get on the ground again. Get on the ground.
Can you please talk to me about what's
Get on the ground. Get on the ground now.
Can you please talk to me about what's going on? Can you please talk to me about what's going on? Yes, sir. Why?
You're not.
This is fucked up. This is fucked up.
Fucking ridiculous. I hate the police.
Pooh, I'm really shiesty. Spring break, bitch.
Don't wear a mask. 8% Celsius, I highly recommend.
I think Corona got canceled. I once drank 37 beers, but it was all off of Dunkaroos.
What are you, Celsius or regular guy?
Spring break, bitch.
I feel like a lot of white boys don't want to put down on some thick. A lot of white boys don't want to put down on some thick shit. They're worried about school and economics. Quit being scared. Go get a big booty Latina. Sir.
Yes?
Get you a big booty Latina.
What would get me a big booty Latina?
You tell me.
I'm already married to one. No nací ayer. White boy summer.
White boy summer every day.
It's the white boy summer out here, you know?
White boy summer.
It's a real nigga summer. Fuck is he talking about?
Hey, you know, take that shit from you. Come get it back in blood.
Outside, being outside, you broke. Real shit.
Hey, no cap. The 410 on fire, bro. Real shit, you know? But anyway, Ferraris are great. Latinas are great. Miami's great. Ciao.
Oh, why are... Fellow white people, why are we like this? Why are we like this? I'm disappointed every day. Every day we stray further from God's light. We're gonna actually see it? Okay, here we go.
Pull that up, honey. Look at the ugly women. Want me to spit on you, ugly
Works for you. If
What
you
an
do that, I
ugly
get on.
What an ugly Why do you wear clothes like that? Why do you have clothes like that? God, you're ugly. No wonder people hate you. Israelis rule.
I know.
Israelis rule. Israelis rule because you guys are ugly as
Leave them alone. They're humans.
Oh, her hair is awesome. The store employee, I mean. She threatened to call the police? Jesus Christ.
I'm at Walgreens. These guys are calling. They're Muslims. They're here in our country. In our country. In our country.
How does she expect... See, if I'm the 911 operator on this, I'd get fired. Because I'd be like, well, ma'am, it kind of sounds like you're being a C-word, so... Do you have any actual emergency, or is this the end of the conversation?
Listen, this guy is threatening me. This guy is threatening me.
Ladies, move back.
Please...
Yes.
Really?
Look at that.
Where are you from? Well, if you go back to Ukraine, that's what
I didn't, and she cries, I didn't do anything. Shut up. Yes, you did. Don't try and be a victim now, you loser. I'm picking up groceries in real life and see a Karen. What do? Probably film it for my channel.
I accept your apology.
I have friends that are...
Yeah,
I have friends... Shut up. Spotted today in California. Lots of honking and thumbs up. Oh, God. Gun registry? Why would I want the government to know I own guns? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh. Is this real? Is this real? I almost want this. This is horseshoe theory of awful taste. This is so bad, it's circled back around to something that I actually want. It's like postmodern art or something. Facts over feelings, liberal. Newsflash, trans men will never be women, and trans women will never be men. True. And those wings will never look good. Jesus Christ. Look at that. What is that? Yikes. I like our earrings, though. Those are cool.
Grandma and Grandpa, they kick us living happily with her grandma and grandpa. They kick us out for not getting the COVID vaccine.
Oh, I guess you should get it then, or face the consequences of your actions.
Now we're homeless.
Good for grandma and grandpa for standing up for themselves. I'm gonna say it deeply saddens me that 500,000+ deaths have come from people acting like impetulant children like these two. And especially to the healthcare workers who have passed away for treating people that people like this got sick. This is what the American conception of individualism has done to the human brain, is it makes you incredibly childish, I'll say. The fact that you feel that you have no responsibility to protect your elders in your family tells me a lot. A complete disregard for their safety when they're extremely prone to having severe COVID-19 symptoms. I mean, Jesus, like, shame on you.
Living happily with her grandma and grandpa. They kick us out for not getting the COVID.
What a douche. Why even have a trial? That's how they used to do it in the South. Convicting Derek... Oh, God. I hate the Donald. Convicting Derek Chauvin regardless of the evidence just because is no better than the lynching of slaves during slavery. Changed my mind. No, he's on trial right now, and he'll either be found guilty or not guilty based on the evidence. They're already trying to say that if he gets convicted, which he may or may not, I don't really trust the justice system in this country. But, like, the fact that they're hedging their bets in case he does get convicted, to say that it wasn't because he actually murdered someone, it was because of cancel culture or some other shit. It's stupid. There's Caitlyn Bennett and her husband. Do you want to watch my wife poop her pants? Oh, is it a Tinder profile? Or a Grindr profile? I don't know what that is. I've never used either. It doesn't look like Tinder, though. I think I've seen screenshots of Tinder.
Rush the border, collapse this country. Our reporters were out here a few days ago, and you told them they can't be here. Those are power poles. Those are right-of-ways that the taxpayers pay for. We have right to ride horses.
You have a hard time finding that legit? You feel like Hannah would use Grindr? Let's imagine I'm single for a second. I'm not. But if I were single, do you think I have the social acuity to meet new people via app and meet up with them to fuck? I barely want to meet people in public at the grocery store. You would think I'm going to let someone else into my house just to bang? No.
Down this, to walk down this, do whatever we want right here. You're putting these barriers up right here. This right here violates state and federal law. This is an illegal encumbrance, like everything else you're doing. Everything you do is a goddamn crime. And just because you come and wave your finger at us doesn't make you the boss. It's what you call color law, just like they're doing smuggling these children in here. This whole thing's a goddamn fraud.
Alex Jones walks like a gorilla. You ever notice that? He's got an interesting what's the word? Gait.
All of this is taxpayer paid for. All of this is a giant criminal fraud. All of this. Stay out of my space, buddy.
I'm out of here.
Biden said, run.
Jesus Christ, Alex. Oh God, what did Carl do now? Let's see what it says. Someone says, congratulations on acknowledging that human beings are not Tamagotchis, which grow and mature at the exact same rate. Now explain that it depends on the child comment in the context of an 11-year-old having sex. Sargon says, this is literally Sargon conceding that humans mature at different rates. His opponents had just said, you can't tell me I wasn't ready to have sex, and Sargon couldn't because he wasn't there, but he defends AOC laws on the grounds that we must have universal rules. AOC in this case being age of consent. You don't have to be present to acknowledge that 11-year-olds cannot consent to sex. Sargon says, you aren't listening to what is being said. Do you believe humans reach sexual maturity at different ages or not? Of course. Do you think humans can reach sexual maturity at the age of, say, 11 and therefore are mature enough to consent to sex? Sargon says, but you believe that someone who is sexually mature cannot consent to sex purely because of age alone. They respond, 11-year-olds are not sexually mature, which is correct. Sargon says, so you do not believe humans sexually mature at different times? Oh my God. Does Sargon want to have sex with 11-year-olds? Here's audio.
I think it depends on the child, really, doesn't it?
I was well under the age of 11 when I started having sex, and so what I like to do is put people on the...
What? Then you weren't having sex. You were being molested. You were... That's... Oh, no.
On the other side of the argument. It's like, what you have to do is you have to say that someone like me, not anybody else,
It's so sad
but me...
when someone who, got taken advantage of or was in a really bad situation, whatever, takes that experience and then contorts it into believing that that's okay, so they don't have to face the fact that they were taken advantage of?
Me, that I was too stupid to appreciate the nature and quality of what I was doing at the time. So please convince me I didn't know what I was doing.
Because you didn't. If you were under 11, you did not know you were... If you were 11, if you were 12, if you were 13, you didn't know what you were doing. 14, 15, 16... Honestly, no. Just no. What are you doing? Why do you think this is okay?
Yeah, I think it's, yeah, it depends on the child, really, doesn't it? Because some kids...
That's what the Catholics say.
Well, it's true, and, it's true, though, it should really be a case-by-case basis, but I can see why the whole thing. But it's not really something I'd ever put too much thought into, to be honest.
Holy shit, Sargon's a piece of shit, isn't he?
President. When is he coming back? Think. Good old Donnie Boy still president. When is he coming back?
Let me rephrase this since you asked me the other night.
No, when is he coming back? You think he's coming back?
I don't know for sure.
But when do you think?
Could be this month.
Like what day?
I don't know.
You said this month, so by the end of April, good old DT is going to be our president again.
I don't know.
What do you think?
The military's in control right now.
Joe Biden's not in control. The military?
I'll tell you why.
Tell me why.
He hasn't been allowed in the Pentagon.
Uh-huh.
He has not been given the nuclear codes.
Uh-huh.
His team has been at the Pentagon, and he does have the nuclear codes.
He does not fly in Air Force One. Trump.
He does fly in Air Force One.
Does.
Okay.
This is why I think Trump is still considered president by the military.
Uh-huh.
The election was stolen.
Stolen.
And that proof is coming out right now.
Okay.
These poor people. All fucking brainwashed. I'd rather be inbred than have pronouns in my bio, to be honest. Interesting. Hey, Biden, God is giving you one last chance. Come out and admit before the entire world that the election was a fraud. Who was involved and that Trump was the real legitimate winner. Do this and history will look upon you more favorably. Wowzers. Let me see, this is a post from the Donald, says, there's no way I can live with leftists and my borders for much longer. Either they back down or we need to steamroll them. I'm sick and tired of just waiting around while the left continues to manipulate children and young adults. How many hundreds of thousands of minors are being put through mental anguish by leftist garbage? Ah, yes, I remember when I was a child and I was put through the mental anguish of being taught to care about other people and allowing people to be who they are as long as they're not hurting others. And learning to share. I just found out a school down the road tried to push transgenderism into the 5th grade sex ed videos just for 5 years ago that were separated based on sex so students could mostly just learn about their natural bodies. Oh no, the kids are gonna learn that a certain subset of people who exist? Oh no! I can't deal with another 10 years of this insanity. I'm seriously ready to push for all-out conflict. I find myself loathing every Democrat I meet. I hope the FBI keeps an eye on that site. That'd be nice. This says he, him equals never been laid. And then someone responds, you know that includes you, right? It's a good day to be she, her.
You only have one life, and you're...
Oh, I think I watched that one. Here's a good one. Ben Shapiro, about in response to the Jordan Peterson being depicted as the Red Skull in Marvel Comics, says, these woke scolds ruining comic books have been on for several years. This is the natural apex. Anyone who says this about comics, in particularly Marvel Comics, has never read a Marvel comic, and it frustrates me to no end that idiots like Ben Shapiro, who I guarantee have never read a single comic book in their life, are like, oh my god, politics in my comic books. I posted a whole thread the other day when Tim Pool was bitching about Falcon and the Winter Soldier being too political, and I was like, oh no, politics in a show about the legacy of Captain America. And then I posted 5 or 6 pages from different Captain America comics that are all explicitly political and what they would consider woke. And not new ones from the last 10 years. A couple maybe were from the last 20 years, but the vast majority were from between the 60s and the 90s. So anyone who thinks that political commentary in comic books is a new thing is an idiot, and you should disregard their opinion on said subject immediately. Here's a Stan soapbox from back in the day. For those who don't know, Stan Lee was the editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics for a long period of time. You know Stan Lee from the Marvel movies. He did all the cameos while he was still alive. He was basically the public face of Marvel for decades. And at the back of issues of Marvel Comics, every month he would do Stan's Soapbox, where he would answer letters to the editor, basically. Or talk about some subject that he's been thinking about. So here's one from back in the day. From time to time, we receive letters from readers who wonder why there's such moralizing in our mags. They take great pains to point out that comics are supposed to be escapist reading and nothing more. But somehow, I can't see it that way. It seems to me that a story without a message, however subliminal, is like a man without a soul. In fact, even the most escapist literature of all, old-time fairy tales and heroic legends, contained moral and philosophical points of view. At every college campus where I may speak, there's as much discussion of war and peace, civil rights, and the so-called youth rebellion as there is of our Marvel mags, per se. None of us lives in a vacuum. None of us is untouched by the everyday events about us, events which shape our stories just as they shape our lives. Sure, our tales can be called escapist, but just because something is for fun doesn't mean we have to blanket our brains while we read it. Excelsior! Stanley. Yeah. Stanley's, pretty based. Not entirely, though. There's some things Stan Lee has done that I disagree with, but he's pretty good on social issues, grading on the curve of his time. He was pretty good, pretty darn good. Also helped create, of course, like X-Men and stuff, so that's cool. Let's look at some right-wing watch stuff.
I'm telling you, Donald Trump, with 100% accuracy, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, lest I get shadow banned or my page is completely...
How about Ben Shapiro as Mr. Mixelpicklix? Next. I could never do it. I could never do his name. Mr. Mixelzixplix. That's actually a pretty good choice. Yes, they should do that.
Taken away, has won single-handedly the presidency of the United States of America in the biggest landslide victory in the history of this nation. I'm telling you, I'm not worried. I'm not fretting. I don't have basketball-sized ulcers. I'm not going to lose 1 second sleep over any of it. Joe Biden didn't win. He's not the president. He will never be the president. And come January the 20th, I'm telling you, I'll be wing, bing, 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 winner, winner, chicken dinner.
How'd that work out? Trumparilla or Trumparia? Tampa Bay? What is this? Oh no, it's another boat festival. More than a boat rally, more than a pub crawl, more than VIP parties. Trumparilla is a weekend-long celebration of an America First Trump 2024. Gasparilla was canceled, but Trumparilla was born. Out of the ashes of one of Tampa Bay's greatest days, shut down because of the China virus, and a group of bold individuals would not stand by and allow normal life to stop. It's astonishing that the city of Tampa Bay could sanction a boat parade for the Super Bowl, but is frowning upon Gasparilla. We certainly should be able to celebrate events other than that sports championships. Remember the last time they did a boat parade and some of the boats sank because they crashed into each other? Just a thought.
Costs. Resist resist the vaccine at all costs. Resist microchips. Stop wearing face masks. Go outside.
Don't do these things, by the way. I mean, you can go outside and breathe fresh air if there's no one else around you. That's fine. But, you know, continue to follow COVID precautions for the time being.
Breathe in some fresh air, get some exercise, eat right, get your sleep, all that good stuff. Enjoy your life. And let me worry about the government and everybody else trying to destroy your freedoms, okay? That's what I eat, sleep, and breathe to do for all of you, and will continue to do it till I can't breathe anymore, all right? And the bottom line is, I'm not getting an injection. I'm not getting microchip. And if anybody tries to do it to me, or I'm sure millions of Americans out there, guess what? They're going to get a lead injection instead.
God, these people just want to shoot people so badly. Why? Why are they shooting? Why do they want to shoot people so bad? God.
But I sensed the Lord doing this. And he says, watch me work.
Yes.
Watch me work. So this is a word from the Lord, and he's not happy with what's going on. He's not happy with some of these things that have been decided, and he's not happy with the opposite direction that he wants to go.
I think he's talking
where
about
abortion
Biden
is
getting
concerned,
elected.
where the Supreme Court is concerned, where religious liberty is concerned, where Israel is concerned. And he's saying, watch me work.
Yes, amen.
Lord, we're going to see you work in this.
we are.
We're going to see you work in the midst of this.
Thank you.
And we invoke the name of Jesus and take authority over the powers and the principalities and the spirit of communism that is trying to infiltrate, overtake, and attack
The
this
spirit
nation
of
right
communism.
now. You bow your knee.
Lenin's ghost himself ghostbustered me.
To the name.
Ghostbustered is what I call it when a ghost comes and gives you a blowy. Like in the movie Ghostbusters.
Name of the Lord Jesus. You hear the voice of the Lord through this man of God. You have no authority in this. Watch me work.
Honestly, no. It should be called getting Aykroyded, because that scene in Ghostbusters where Dan Aykroyd gets blown by a ghost is based on what he thinks is a true story. Dan Aykroyd thinks a ghost tried to get frisky with him once, because Dan Aykroyd is a crazy person. Just for the record.
Democrat Party tonight. Because you ain't messing with me anymore.
At least Dan Aykroyd is crazy in the fun way, where he believes in ghost and Bigfoot, and not in the way that he wants to destroy the democracy in the United States because a pillow salesman told him to.
Messing with the people in this room, and you're not messing with these pastors. I saw God get up off of his throne, roll up his sleeves, and tell America, I'm coming. Somebody help. I'm coming. I'm coming.
Dan Aykroyd also believes his vodka tastes better because it comes in skull bottles. Hold on. For the record, Dan Aykroyd is right, okay? I don't drink anymore. However, Crystal Head vodka is, some smooth shit. I gotta clean this off. I don't know where the cork went. Plus, it's just a cool bottle. Let's be real. That's a cool bottle. Anyway.
And I'm going to tell you...
That would make a cool bong. How could you turn this into a bong? You just need to put like a thing in his mouth. Someone teach me how to turn this into a bong. I guess I could probably just buy a bong shaped like a skull. That's not as fun though.
That this is not all good news. No, no, no. Listen to me. This is not all good news. God said, whatever I have to do to save America, I will do it. If it means natural disaster, I'll do it. If it means destroying her economy and her global prestige, I will do it. God is not about drag queens reading to our children.
They're so afraid of drag queens. What's up with that? I don't get it. I've not met, like, I in passing, I guess I've met at, like, Pride, like, one or two drag queens. I've certainly seen drag shows, but, like, why are they so afraid of drag queens? I don't get it.
God is not about your 6-year-old because of social media thinking she's a boy.
They're so afraid of trans
this
people.
This gender bending, this perversion, this Coca-Cola, American Airlines, Delta Airlines, all of you that are sitting there telling Georgia how they can write their laws.
Shut up, Coca-Cola. We're gonna stop black people from voting and you're gonna like it.
Through your money, you're gonna tell a free state in America what they can do? God's not gonna sit back, folks. Jehovah Jireh is on the move.
And shout, you know, his ears shining like, and you walk up and say, man, this androgynous trend toward having men do everything that women do, or vice versa, this stuff is ungodly, folks. It is ungodly. Now, I'm going to start meddling now, but you know, I've often said, you know, because it used to be that a guy wearing an earring was either a sailor who had crossed the equator or homo. And I guess the deal was that one side meant sailor crossing the equator, the other side meant homosexual. But now that's gone because, of course, all men wear earrings. Or some men, many men wear earrings. Notice, no earrings, no piercing.
Jesus Christ, they're just little dangly things to hang from your ears. Wear them or don't, no one cares.
Things, and there never will be. But I've often joked and said, you know,
it's funny too because biblical men wore jewelry. Like, there are plenty of depictions of biblical men wearing earrings and stuff. It wasn't uncommon. If you weren't poor, at least back in the day. Like, if you had some wealth, you probably had jewelry and stuff, including earrings.
How would a guy feel if you walked up to him? He got two great big old diamond earrings in his ears and you know, his ears shining like, and you walk up to him and say, man, I really like those earrings. Where can I get a pair of those for my wife? You think he'd be insulted? I don't see why he should be.
If he was maybe insecure, but like, if... I guess I wouldn't see the issue of him being like, oh sure, here's where I got him. Who cares? It's all based on their insecurities. It's so strange seeing people's entire worldview and political positions being dictated by their own insecurity.
Because, you know, a grown man with two great big old shining earrings in his ears to me looks like a woman. I mean, his ears look like women's ears to me.
Have I even told you how many femboys I've accidentally brought to bed because they were wearing earrings? God will forgive me because those ears, those were the ears of a woman.
I wouldn't put that mess in my ears.
Jesus Christ.
Killed a guy, shot a guy thinking she, by the way, I could go on that one. Can I say this? Right wing, watch you listening. Anybody, you can give me a thumbs up here. Anybody wants to, just because a bunch of us agree with it doesn't make it right though. But can I tell you something? Sorry, Reggie. A woman's got no business being a cop. A woman's got no business being a cop. Now, there's a place for a woman in law enforcement, but it is not pulling up at my house and arresting some burly 6'5", 285-pound. That is not a woman's job. How did we ever get to the point where we think that is normal for a woman to do that. Why?
What's up with the video glitching? Is the video glitching for people?
That's perverted, see? Perversion of the male-female rules. Men and women are equal, but they're not equal. Come on, stop saying that. Men and women aren't equal. Why have we bought that lie? Why do we promote that lie? Why do you say, well, women deserve equal? No, listen, I'm just telling you. A man can cook, but it's a woman's job. Sorry.
This is the same guy that we watched a couple weeks back, and he was like, I don't want to say the N-word, but why can't I? Like, you know.
Imperfect a vessel is, the more glory God gets from using him to accomplish what he wanted to accomplish. Having said that, we are going to respect and honor President Trump a whole lot more in heaven once we understood the courage and bravery of what he's had to do and put up with. It's literally in the it's you know what David showed and saying, I'll take on that giant, and he wasn't a 1%er, he's a 0.0001%. There is that same caliber of steeliness, of resolve, and of knowing he's put there by God that is in President Trump. The weaker, more imperfect a vessel is, the more glory God gets.
Jesus Christ.
Is God showing you about?
Does. You watch what God does in government, in this administration.
I always wonder how much it pays to be the sort of like, what's the word I'm thinking of? Background, like tone setting music, just the sort of droning piano person in the background. I don't know why they don't just get a Casio that has like pre-programmed stuff in there, but they have a keyboardist who's just like entire job is just do backing tracks for their insane QAnon-esque conspiracy theories.
Because President Trump still is President Trump.
I mean, all ex-presidents are still usually referred to, they can be at least referred to as like President Obama, President Trump, President Carter. Like, that's fine, you can do that. Doesn't mean they are the current president, though, and Trump is not.
I'm not making this political. It's not political. I'm just saying that the demonic, that the demonic and those that are in power, seemingly they're really not in power. It's all theater. It's theater, because just watch what happens. We're getting ready to see a shift, and the whole world is gonna witness it. Watch what the Lord does. I thought it would have happened already, but definitely by April 10, 23, 24, 25, in that neighborhood, you watch what happens in America, because the whole world, we're going to be dancing in the streets. You watch.
Again, I like the idea that they are so excited about the idea that they will destroy democracy. Fun.
Is suppressed. What I'm not going to do is suppress true free speech.
Oh, yeah.
Well, ask me, Eric.
Peter, of Peter's Political Perspective, the conspiracy theorist we talked to last week, or earlier in the week, sorry. Mike Lindell, who's making a new social media platform called Frank Speech, I think it's called. Peter is supposed to be going there on the 20th when it opens and starting his new channel. Apparently they're going to be banning all swearing.
Eric, they said, how are you going to...
Or certain swears, including things like, God damn it, or whatever. Taking the Lord's name in vain is banned on this website.
How are you going to...
This is a Christian Minecraft server, Mike.
Let everything go, porn and swearing and everything. I said, absolutely not. And here's why. We have a thing we found in the Constitution and our founding fathers that defines what free speech is.
So free speech isn't free speech if it's things he doesn't like. Starting a social media without porn, you're going to learn the lesson Tumblr learned, and that's don't mess with people's ability to look at boobies.
And Eric, get this. This Judeo-Christian platform we're going to have here, They go by biblical principles. They get to the Supreme Court. You have the 10 Commandments there, and you'll see our definement there. So in other words, you can't. You're not going to have porn up there. You're not going to have these sites that contain material that go against our Constitution, go against what our founding fathers put in there. It really defines what free speech is. For example,
we define our free speech by the porn that we're not allowing you to post.
Swearing is now, you're not going to be able to swear. There'll be 4 words for sure you can't say. You can't say the C word, the N word, the F word, and you can't use God's name in vain. What a concept, right?
Wow.
Yeah,
that's really puritanical. I like it.
Now,
wow, that's really puritanical. I like it. Good God.
Someone goes out there and says, I don't like what's going down at the border, or I don't like that our country was attacked and nobody's did anything about it or is doing anything about it. If I can't say those things, that's free speech.
Listen,
and you can't do another thing. You can't do what we defined in there is totally defame someone. One of the 9. What's the 9th?
What are you being sued for again? From Dominion, Mike? Remind me. Was it slander and libel? Okay, just checking.
Commandment. It's thou shouldn't put. I can't even think now, but it's in the 9th commandment. You're bearing false witness, I believe it is. So if you're putting a complete lie against Eric, if I say Eric Metaxa did something terrible, it's an out and out lie. That's not free speech. That is not free speech. Okay. What I'm not going to do is.
Jesus Christ, Mike.
We're telling.
Bureaucracies, these corporate American.
Now, sometime last year, I walked out of this building. Really?
Sorry, just whipped him. Oh, Jesus wouldn't do that. Heck, he wouldn't. He whipped him. Turned over the money tables. You don't do this in my Father's house. The zeal of my house has eaten me up. My Father's house. He was a man. But the church, the ecclesia, the government of God, has been so neutered and so turned effeminate, almost homosexual. I'm just telling you straight up.
The conflation of
the
conflation of homosexuality with the femininity is interesting, considering there's a lot of pretty manly gay dudes out there. I don't know if this guy's met many gay dudes, but okay.
It's ridiculous.
I did hear O'Keefe and Veritas have been banned from Twitter. That's good. That's good. He's a lying piece of shit.
We're men, where are the men? Where's the maleness? Where is the, I will defend the children. I will protect the family. My ushers at my church, they all pack. I mean, they all pack. You come to my place and you think about starting.
Does he think gay people are incapable of holding and shooting guns? Does he think gay people are incapable of fucking your shit up? No one tell him about Stonewall.
Starting something, you're dead. They'll kill you. They'll shoot you because they'll protect they're going to protect everybody else. You try to pull something, you're dead. I said, listen, guys, if I'm up there preaching and somebody comes up running, make sure you get them. Just kill them. Just shoot them dead.
What are the chances this guy gets tax exemption for his church? Just curious.
Because people do not want to hear.
Hold on. I'll show you guys something cool someone printed for me a while back. Someone made me a trans rights brick. That's pretty good. The coloring's a little blown out by the camera, but
the truth of the Bible, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the mess we're in because people don't want to hear the truth politically. Everybody says, y'all just need to hush. Just roll over and be done with it. Joe Biden is the legitimate president of the United States of America, and you have lost your ever-loving mind if you still believe such bogus nonsense. Look, I don't care what you think about Greg Locke, and I don't care what fake Jesus thinks about my political stand under this tent. Let me tell you something. There's not one place in that Bible. I said not one place that God tells me I've got to accept something that's deceitful and lies and fraudulent. God tells me I need to believe the truth, not a bunch of wicked nonsense.
Reality is a bunch of wicked nonsense now. That's great. Jesus Christ, these people. Pat Robertson was accidentally based today. Did you see this?
Also, I want to say, you know, I think a lot of people are thinking like I was, that both the gun and the taser would be put on your dominant side, but it's not that way.
Yeah, but they have to cross where they have them different.
So you actually have to reach across yourself to
you
get
feel the
taser.
difference. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's definitely
there's just no
discernible.
comparison. As I say, they're not making tasers in this yellow color anymore. They're making in black. They're making them yellow. Now, how she made the difference was she shot that poor guy to death, saying, "This is what I thought. I thought was my taser." And if you can't tell the difference in the feel of those things, it's crazy. Anyhow, she deserves. But I am pro-police, folks. I think we need the police. We need their servants, and they do a good job. But if they don't stop this onslaught, they cannot do this. You know, the police in Virginia picked up a lieutenant in the Army and began to give him trouble. And our state police are highly trained. But why they don't stop this? And this thing is going on in Minnesota, but the Derek Chauvin, I mean, they ought to put him under the jail. He has caused so much trouble by kneeling on the death of George Floyd. It's just, on his neck.
Pat Robertson just said Chauvin should be put under the jail. Based.
It's just terrible what's happening. And the police, why don't they open their eyes to what the public relations are? They've got to stop this stuff.
Maybe they need more training.
Do you know how bad the police have to be fucking up for Pat Robertson to start being like, this might be a bit much? God, look at this one. It's so beautiful. It's like John Woo and Mel Gibson directed a flag together.
When the states are done, I think that Trump knows when the states are done doing their investigations of the elections, when enough of the people are pissed off about the fraud, when enough people get red pilled, I think we're going to end up with a new election, a redo of the 2020 election. And I think Trump.
That's not how anything works. The Constitution does not lay out any process for redoing elections. Not how it works. Sorry.
Knows that's coming.
Also, there was no fraud of any kind. The election was legitimate. So
he doesn't have to commit to 2024, because I think we're going to have a redo of the 2020 election at some point. I mean, look in Myanmar. Military takes over and says, oh, guess what? We're going to do a new election, paper ballots, and we're going to count the ballots. We're probably looking at something like that here in the U.S. And so Trump doesn't need to commit to 2024, because I think something is going to happen before then. I think that Trump knows when the states are done doing their investigations of the elections, when enough of the people are pissed off about the fraud, when enough people get red pilled, I think we're going to end up with a new election, a redo of the 2020 election. And I think Trump knows that's coming. So he doesn't have to commit to 2024, because I think we're going to have.
Sorry, the Quartering got a strike on one of his channels for COVID misinformation. And I was reading about it. I apologize. Okay, that's probably enough right-wing cope. Unless there's any good Patriot takes, but I don't think so. Okay, that's enough right-wing cope for the day. We'll catch up with them next time to see what else they're bitching about. Bungled robbers botch attempt theft of a TV from a store. There's no audio, I don't think, on this. This is just a cleanse someone sent. Okay, window smash. Does he think he can just pull a TV off a wall? It's on a mount. You gotta take it off the mount. You idiot. What is he doing? He's just... Is the TV even okay anymore? He probably bent the shit out of it. Really? Wow, these guys suck. I guarantee they destroyed it. Well, I hope that store or whatever it was had insurance, because that's stupid. Are they going to pull away and reveal their license plate? Oh, it's blurry enough where they probably couldn't pick up the license plate. Who knows, though? Oh, we got to cover this real quick. This is so incredibly stupid. Okay. So this is an Amazon listing for ugly, gaudy, LED flashing sequined fedoras for like a party. You know, you're not supposed to actually wear these anywhere. It's for like a rave or like if you're at a kid's party or whatever. They're just stupid, ugly hats. And yes, I want one, but that's not the point. Okay? As you can see, the price here is listed as $7,937.76. Now, this, of course, has led geniuses in the Q community to believe and rate this product 1 star, even though they've not actually bought these terrible products. And they think it's being used for child trafficking. Let's read some of the reviews, okay? WTF, save the children. Illegal, take this down now. No hats are worth $15,000 unless you're trafficking. Suspect. Save the children. Child trafficking at its finest. Hashtag save our children. WTF. This has child trafficking all over it. Why? Jesus will show you no mercy. It goes on and on and on. Why? Save our children. Save the children. Trafficking. This is sus. Stops human trafficking, you fools. WTF. Save our children. You get it. A bunch of right-wing idiots think that $7,000 is for a single hat. But if you actually look, or 15 if you're buying the... If you can see, though, these are bulk. This is not a single hat, though you can buy a single hat. You can buy one for $21, which seems a little much for a shitty party hat, but it does light up. But it defaults when you click on the page the first time to the highest amount you can buy, which is 2,880 of these, which would cost $15,000. So, what do you know? A bunch of right-wing QAnon idiots have reading comprehension issues, surprise, and didn't figure out that it's talking about 3,000 fedoras almost for $15,000, which still seems high to me. But I don't know. I'm not in the bulk hat business, so who knows? You get the point. One, though. This seems like the type of ugly, cringe hat that I would wear, right? Don't you think? No? Yes? I'm not gonna buy it. I don't need to spend $20 on a hat right now, but I don't know. If someone else wanted to buy me this, go for it. My P.O. box is available. I want a light up LED purple silver hat. Look at this kid. I want to be as cool as this kid. Or buy me 2,880 fedoras and we can have a hat party. Okay? How many hats do I have? How about I just count the ones that are visible to me from this chair? Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. I can count 26 hats in this room that I can see. There are more in the closet. That's a lot of hats. It is a lot of hats. I like hats, okay? Oh, I have so many bit messages to get through. Pyromancer says, but gay marriage is going to lead to bestiality and pedophilia. Yeah, it's always projection, isn't it? Mike Max says, a friend with weed is a friend indeed. Bardlock Moses says, if the cops can shoot you for having a gun, do you really have the right to carry a gun? Pyromancer says, I meant to use my taser and not a gun. That doesn't count. Dude Spanking Dude says, as I was saying, this is reported cases. My family are like, they're just bad cops, but at least they agree that there needs to be police reform and police background checks into what hate groups they are in. Andrew Batella, they are mask off family. Thank you for subscribing with 5 months in a row. Logarth says, then we should intend to give them a slap on the wrist, but accidentally throw them in jail and just sue the PD pension fund. I have triple what you thought? Yeah, and that's just the hats I can see. I have more hats than that. Tucker White says, given this country considers Reed quoted part as redneck, ma guns a personality trait, why would Dante Wright holding a gun one in a badass way make him warranted for death? I wonder what about Dante Wright makes him a thug when he holds a gun. What could it be? Zozo Horror Show says, no kind discharge is good if it's accidental or premature. Flo Joe West says, this country makes me so frustrated. How does this keep happening? Because nothing keeps changing. Mike Mack says, you know America has a problem when Americans can't accept that America has a problem. It's like our key trait as a country is an inability to recognize our own issues. Barlock Moses says, my mother is an RN, and if she F's up, she'll be out of the job. F the police. Bardlock Moses says both. I don't know what that was a reference to. Logarth says, I'd say people are paying more attention and it's getting worse. Oh, it was in regard to that question I asked. Makes sense. Batty Bell says, comply to a paradox. Keep your hands out of the window and get out of the car. Bardlock Moses says, his military training to stay cool under fire kept him alive. Said it had to be used in his home country. Pyromancer says, don't blame me. I sit inside all day. Overthought says, blame Tom Hanks' son. He's a whole tool shed. What does that mean? If Darwin could see, thanks for following. Tucker White says, was going to jail really better than the 5 minutes at most you'd wear a mask to get the Selsun Blue from a Walgreens? Yeah, I don't know where their priorities lie. It's stupid. Captain Rose says, why do you become comfortable making fun of how people look when they choose to look that way? I don't see how it's different to the other. My apologies. I don't know what that was a reference to. I might have made a comment. I try not to, but I slip up sometimes. Call me mommy with 30 bits says, how do I get my black friend to get vaccinated? She doesn't trust it. Why does her race have anything to do with the statement? I don't know. Let her know that it's good to get the vaccine and there's nothing that's going to happen to her negative because of it. Logarth says, that's for sure 100% Grindr. And it's actually really cool how many male-female couples are on Grindr. Neat. Pyromancer says Alex Jones certainly knows how to posture. Morok Ben Eoth says, yikes, my dude. Slow Dog says, is she Peter's source? Nick says, lol, being a product of incest to own the libs. Logarth says, fun fact, nuclear football is basically an authenticator, like the kind you have for an MMO, only this kind makes everyone no-lifers. Mike Mack says, hypocrites everywhere. Bet they believe on the 10 Commandments. Remind what those commandments say they need to follow. Also, Cap was racist to the Japanese. Yeah, in World War II. Captain America, being a fictional character, has been written very differently by many different writers. World War II Cap was very of his time and very yikesy. Modern Captain America's done a lot to rectify that, luckily. But it certainly is part of the character's history that needs to be acknowledged. Tucker White says, hell, the very concept of Captain America in of itself is political. Yes, it is. It's very silly. Innsmouth Swim Team says, reminds me of when before the last election, Chuds freaked out that Mike Mignola drew Hellboy with a Biden shirt. Hellboy outright punches Nazis for a living. Bardlock Moses says, filming in your car should cause you to be banned. Pyromancer says, imagine making shooting people your go-to reaction to pretty much everything. Overthought says, even Pat Robertson is like, F the cops. And then we watch that clip. Pyromancer says, I need a picture of God working on it. Logarth says, Dan Aykroyd also believes his vodka tastes better because it comes in skull bottles. He's right. Pyromancer says, make the skull your water bottle instead. I'm not going to carry a glass water bottle. That's a recipe for disaster. Especially not one that doesn't fit in a cup holder that I just have to, like, set in my car. It's going to go flying and smash me in the head if I get in an accident. Logarth says, good old free market Jesus, at it again. Stonecore Bell says, where is in the Bible does it say states' rights? Tucker White says, yes, Pastor, God will sit back. Companies like Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines carry more power with their money than people like you. Water bottle for streaming, not carrying around. This is my current, I just bought this one. I'm trying to do one of these a day to make sure I get enough water in the day, because I'm normally really dehydrated, but... Logarth says, and that means that I want to have sex with his ears. Bardlock Moses says, men aren't bulletproof, dumbass. Tucker White says, how much you want to bet the guy, gal, non-binary pal who watches these videos for Right Wing Watch marked out when Dave Daubenmeier said their name? Dude Spanking Dude says, you know, I'll never get that. The fact that these people try to sell us that if we give up our happiness and our being gay and trans and stuff, we get to go to heaven. Do they understand that that doesn't make heaven appealing if we have to be the types of people there? Sounds more like hell. Yeah, I don't know if they do get that. Razzle Tazzle says, just arrived. Good evening, beautiful people. What did I miss? Not too much. We did right-wing cope so far. Pyromancer says, April 20th, I'm going to speed run his Frank speech ban. Won't be that hard. Mitchell Drummer just says, Mike Lindell is actually such an idiot for not calling it pillow talk. Oh, you're probably right. He's probably trying to divorce it from his pillow brand for a variety of reasons. Nick says, I'm okay with social media platforms banning porn, but if you're going to allow it to start and then ban it, then you're an idiot. Nick also says, to hell with James O'Queef. Razzle Tazzle says, the gays can't shoot, their wrists are too limp, obviously. Duggar White says, how much you want to bet is pastor screeching about da gay? Oh, no, not reading that one. Tucker White says, this pastor says, nowhere in the Bible does Jesus say to accept deficit and lies, yet he defends a religion that's built on lies and deceit. Gotta be careful with some of those words. Nick says, praying medic, that guy should lose his medical license for the website name alone. Mike Mack says, there are a lot of conspiracy theories on TikTok. It's where the conspiracies come from. It's where some do. Cast Iron Pan says, I've asked this before, but I forgot. What size hat do you wear? This one is 61 centimeters, and it's a little tight. So a little more than that, probably. Tucker White with nonsense that I'm not going to read. Mike Mack says, minorities hate and fear the government. Many of them follow conspiracy theories, I suppose. But that's true of any group. But I understand hating the government leading to conspiracy theories, I guess. I haven't seen statistics on it, though. Maps and Mimics, thanks for resubscribing for 3 months, says first trimester almost done, thanks for the laughs. Pyromancer says, water bottle for streaming, not for carrying. Keirthin says, speaking of car, what's my dream car? DeLorean. Puka the Duka with 200 bits, thank you. It would be, okay, my dream car, since it's a dream car, it would look like a DeLorean. It would have the styling of a DeLorean, but it would have an engine that actually didn't suck. Ooh, a DeLorean that's been converted into an electric car would be cool. Tucker White says, Bort! We're all out of, we need more Bort license plates. They're bringing back DeLoreans? That's cool. Did you show Tim Pool the Cap issue where Nixon was the supervillain? I didn't, because that one takes multiple panels to explain, because the Nixon stand-in guy shoots himself in the head, and it's just kind of hard to explain without the context, so I stuck to single panel or single page stuff that would be easy to illustrate without an explainer for what's going on, because you need a lot of this information to understand the whole thing that happened before he became Nomad. What about Mr. Fusion? If we can figure out Mr. Fusion, sure. Sorry, one sec. Do 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 do. Freiserburn says, chat, remember to not bit message something rude because Hannah won't read it. Goes against her personal code of conduct on stream. Yes. I reserve the right to choose not to read your bit message if I don't want to. Which is why, by the way, I don't do... Some streamers do like a text-to-speech thing where if you do certain bits messages or donations, it reads it. I would rather have a personal filter on every single one of those than just let it go. Which is why I read them personally. Como Freak says, the license plates rule. And then Nick says, insert something rude here. Mower Riding, thanks for following. And Genitalia, thanks for following. Haha, Genitalia. Okay. That's pretty good. Okay, what are we going to do next? Do we actually have to do... Okay. Let's get the sad one out of the way. So we can get on to... We'll sandwich it in between less depressing stuff. Tucker White says, yeah, I'd totally game a text-to-speech setting just to make it read gibberish. Yeah, I don't know why you find that so funny. You've done that same joke like 50 times. Like, it's the same joke over and over. Okay, let's do the depressing one. This is an unfortunate topic. This is going to include, police violence, and a kid getting killed by the police. We're not going to show the footage, obviously, because TOS. There's a cleanse. Okay, thank you. I'll open this for a little bit later. Like I said, we're not going to show the video because it's TOS. But the video is pretty devastating if you haven't seen it. This is about the Adam Toledo shooting. The police shot a 13-year-old as he was putting his hands up. Initial reports by the police, I believe, said that he had a gun in his hands when they shot him. It's not true. He doesn't have a gun in his hands in the video. So yeah, the cop shoots him point blank. Looks like in the chest, and the kid dies. So let's read about it. Video released Thursday shows a Chicago police officer fatally shooting 13-year-old Adam Toledo as he raised his hands in a little village alley on March 29th. The video comes from body cameras worn by police when an officer fatally shot Toledo on March 19th in Little Village. The Civilian Office of the Police Accountability, which is investigating the shooting, also released third-party video transmission from the city's Office of Emergency Communications, shot spotter recordings, case incident information, and tactical response arrest reports. This, by the way, is why body cameras on every police officer in America are so important. They already tried to say, even with the footage existing, that the kid was holding a gun at the time he was shot. The footage shows that was not the case. The kid was not armed when he was shot. He was putting his hands up to surrender. Okay? You can see this footage yourself. It's available online. It's in this article, but of course I can't show it for TOS reasons. The police will lie about this stuff. The police do and have lied about this stuff consistently. Only because there was actual objective video evidence do we know that this kid was killed in cold blood by a cop. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, the Toledo family's attorneys, and local leaders have asked people to remain peaceful as the footage is released. Lightfoot said it is excruciating to watch these videos, particularly footage that shows Toledo mortally wounded after an officer shot him. She and Little Village community leaders held a news conference where they said the video will raise strong emotions in people and urge people to protest nonviolently. Quote, "This is not something you want children to see," end quote, Lightfoot said. The family's attorneys, Adina Weiss Ortiz and Joel Hirschhorn, said viewing the videos was extremely difficult and heartbreaking for everyone present, especially for Adam's family. The attorney did not disclose what the family saw in the video, but said they are conducting their own investigation into his death as we seek justice for Adam and his family. The video shows the moments leading up to the officer shooting Toledo, the shooting itself, and the aftermath. Video taken from the front door of a Little Village church shows Toledo and 21-year-old Reuben Roman walking down the street before stopping at the corner of 24th Street and Sawyer Avenue, where it appears Roman fired shots at a target that is out of view. Toledo and Roman leave, video footage shows. Body camera footage shows an officer chasing Toledo through an alley, with the officer yelling at Toledo to stop. The officer catches up to Toledo, who appears to have stopped running near a gap in a fence between the alley and a church parking lot. Video from a different angle appears to show Toledo toss the gun behind the fence moments before he's shot. So he's already disarmed himself. He's thrown the gun away, presumably to try and hide it or something because he can't be in possession of a firearm because he's 13. Doesn't matter. Possessing a firearm when you're underage is not grounds to be murdered in cold blood in the street by the police. So he throws the gun away, is disarmed at this point. He disarmed himself and goes to put his hands up because the police officer is yelling at him to put your hands up, show me your hands. He starts to do that, turns around, and the cop shoots him. The cop shoots him. And then this motherfucker, this piece of shit cop, has the audacity, the goddamn audacity, to walk up and be like, "Are you okay? Where have you been shot? Where you fucking shot him, you piece of shit?" This video was so frustrating to me. Normally stuff like this doesn't bother me. I can look at it relatively clinically. I don't know what it was about this video that got to me in particular out of all the incidents of like police violence and police murder over the past couple of years, but this one got to me. This one got to me real bad. The officer flashes a strobe flashlight to Toledo and says, "Hands! Show me your effing hands!" Immediately after commanding Toledo to show his hands, the officer shot the boy at close distance. Toledo's hands were raised when he was shot, the footage shows. Footage released by the police does not show Toledo point or raise a gun at the officer at the end of the chase. Toledo does not appear to be holding the gun as the officer shot him. Toledo collapsed in the parking lot after being shot. The conclusion of the foot chase to the fatal shooting happened in only 1 second, said Brendan Denahan, Police Department Chief of Detectives. After the officer shot Toledo, he walked toward the boy and radioed for backup in an ambulance, the footage shows. Quote, look at me, are you all right? Where you shot, the officer says to Toledo, who is unresponsive. The officer lifts Toledo's sweatshirt to look for a wound and tells the boy, stay with me. The officer radios for someone to bring him a medical kit. Responding officers and the officer who shot Toledo then begin to treat the 13-year-old, performing CPR on the boy. The officer who shot Toledo walks away from the scene by himself. Minutes later, a police supervisor radios in to officers on the scene to turn their body cameras off. Police supervisors radioed in to the officers on the scene to turn their body cameras off. If anyone ever wonders why people say ACAB, read them that one. COPA initially said it would not release videos of the shooting due to Toledo's age, but amid mounting pressure, the agency reversed course and said it would release videos within 60 days. The office first invited Toledo's family to watch the videos, which they did Tuesday. Someone wants a link to the article? Sure. The family asked COPA to delay releasing the videos, but officials said they would still come out. People can view all the material online. Toledo, a 7th grader at Gary Elementary School, was laid to rest Friday. His family thanked Little Village community members for the outpouring of support they have received since his death. Adam's memory can best be honored by refraining from violence and working constructively for reform, the attorney said. Lightfoot acknowledged trust between the police and many communities in Chicago has been broken by years of abuse, but she urged people to, quote, wait until we hear all the facts before making up their minds on the case. Lightfoot said she had seen the videos. She would not comment on what they show, though she said Toledo did not shoot at any police officers. Before Lightfoot saw videos relevant to the shooting, someone described what they showed to her. In a press release, April 5th, she repeatedly said Toledo had a gun. Liar. At least when he was actually shot. Toledo's family is still critically in the throes of grief, Lightfoot said Wednesday. I want to be respectful of the family, but I also think something like a police-involved shooting, particularly under these circumstances, is important for us to be transparent. Peaceful protests and memorials have been organized to honor Toledo and to call for police to be held accountable. But the city is prepared for potential unrest in the wake of the video's release. More police have been stationed downtown, and large trucks have been prepared to block neighborhood commercial strips to protect businesses from looting like that experience last summer. The officer who shot Toledo has been placed on administrative duties for 30 days, which is routine protocol, David Brown previously said. COPA is investigating, and Lightfoot said she has urged the agency to be expeditious. Just moments before this video was made public, WGN reported a prosecutor, quote, failed to fully inform himself before speaking about the shooting in court. Prosecutor James Murphy claimed over the weekend that Toledo had a gun in his hand when he turned towards the officer. The video contradicts this statement. An attorney who works in this office failed to fully inform himself before speaking in court, Sarah Sinovic, a spokesperson for Cook County State Attorney Kim Fox, told WGN. You know, when a citizen misinforms themselves and speaks on that topic in court, we usually call that perjury. Funny how that works. Police have said the shooting happened about 2:30 a.m. March 29th in the 2300 block of South Sawyer. Officers were responding to a shot spotter alert of 8 shots fired in the 2300 block of South Sawyer Avenue when they saw 2 males in an alley. One of them had a gun. David Brown said Monday. The officer chased, which resulted in an armed confrontation, Brown said. An officer shot once, fatally hitting Toledo in his chest. Brown has repeatedly refused to answer questions about which of the males had a gun. Prosecutors have said Toledo was holding a gun and was told twice to drop it before the police officer shot him. After Toledo was killed, a member of Brown's staff called him, waking him up, and told the superintendent the subject seemed very young, Brown said. Brown told the officers to try to identify Toledo. There was no identification on Toledo's body, and the man who had been with Toledo gave officers a false name for the boy, Brown said. We lost considerable time trying to identify Adam because of the wrong name, Brown said. Officers checked Toledo's fingerprints 3 times but did not find matches in their records, nor could they find reports of him in their open cases of missing people, Brown said. Detectives then began to review cases of missing people who had returned home, and one found a case report that matched Toledo, who had still not been identified, Brown said. On Wednesday, 2 days after Toledo was killed, police contacted his mother, Elizabeth Toledo, and told her the description of her son matched that of an unidentified person in the morgue. Elizabeth Toledo went to the morgue and confirmed the boy killed by police was her son. The boy had been reported missing but he returned home and was there March 27th, during which time a detective called Elizabeth Toledo, and she told police her son was no longer missing, which is why his missing persons case had been closed. Adam Toledo left home again late March 27th or early March 28th, and the family thought he was missing during the time police were trying to identify his body. Yeah. Police misconduct and murder committed by the police of unarmed suspects. It's downplaying it to say it's out of control. I don't have a lot to say about this that hasn't been said a million times by other people, but something has to change. This isn't sustainable. People just straight up cannot handle dealing with this shit. Not okay. Anyway, let's find something less horrifying and depressing, shall we? I think someone did a quick cleanse, which we definitely need.
God, get that back. Really?
The cement here is where the stepping stones go. The stones
Penny, stop! Stop!
That sucks.
What's in my coffee? Hey?
Is that a bobcat?
What's in my coffee?
Look at this cat!
Your whole leg!
Ah. Do you see the... Wow. Good morning.
Что? Дядька, бачу. О, матюшки мои. Что ты? Зачем ты это все?
Maggie! You fucking stoner! I can't stand it! Maggie, get out of there!
Mesa!
Okay, don't do that. Come on.
Thank you so much.
Oh.
God.
Dogs are not better than cats.
I'm a bit worried that he's gonna.
Dogs are just more subservient than cats.
Well, I was worried about
better.
you silly people. Jasper, come on.
Ну хорош нюхать. Ну, отдай деньги. Отдай деньги.
Let's see if my chat are more cat people or dog people. Let's do a poll. Vote in this poll for pet supremacy.
Отдай, говорю, не твое. Да. Отдай, не твое.
Эдди. Что кусит еще? Ах ты. Зараза, он кусает.
Cats are winning, which is the correct answer. Wait, no other? No. I don't need your third-party ferret votes screwing up this election, okay? We all know it's between cats and dogs. I don't care if you own a lizard or a rabbit or whatever. This is the cats versus dogs fight. All you rabbit owners are the Green Party voters of the pet world.
I got that one.
Now I understand.
Waffles.
Hey!
Ivan, hey.
Ha ha ha. Cats wins. Suck it, dog owners.
Ну чё, Нос, ты как сам? Нормально все? Ты решил зимой вымазикаться в земле, да? Изваляться в земле? Давай, конечно же. Доваливайся. Шмыться пойдем.
This election was stolen. This election was stolen. Now do cat boys versus cat girls. No. Elliot Hulse is back. Let's see what he's got going on.
And so testosterone is like a weapon. Testosterone, that's why there's such an attack on testosterone in our culture. Testosterone is like a weapon in a man, and it gives him strength, it gives him might, it gives him fortitude, it gives him virility.
Yo, Elliot!
Yes, as we all know, the war on testosterone is rampant, much like the war on Christmas.
Yo, Elliot, got a question for you regarding effeminacy and combating the temptations of demons. You shared a quote from St.
The
Thomas Aquinas.
temptations of demons. Oh, good.
Where he defined effeminacy as something akin to an aversion to pain and attachment to pleasure.
As we all know, all these effeminate women out there, they never have had to deal with pain, which is why men give birth to children.
What strategies would you employ to combat the demon of effeminacy? NoFap has been very helpful, and now I'm trying to establish a consistent...
I used to be all effeminate and masturbate, and now I'm a real man because I don't touch my own dick.
Morning routine that sets me up to dominate the day. Thank you for all you do. And so when St. Thomas Aquinas speaks in terms of the aversion to pain and the attachment to pleasure, it kind of echoes the initiation process that cross-culturally has been present in all civilizations, and especially civilizations that recognize that they need to make very good use, very good active use of the men, the young men in their societies. Today, we're allowed to be useless, right? Many of us are useless, and
define useless. What do you mean by useless, Elliot?
There's no initiation process to make us useful. And when I say useful, I mean in a very masculine way, you know, being a useful man, right? Not just a useful person, but somebody who carries a sense of purpose, meaning, mission, dignity into their world.
So women and non-binary people can't have purpose and dignity and bring meaning into their world? Yikes.
And so that movement is a movement away from, and this is the pattern that we see cross-culturally, is a movement away from the world of the mother and an atonement with the world of the father. And that there are elements that are associated with that. The world of the mother is associated with pleasure. It's associated with comfort. It's associated with material creature comforts, right? Things that feel good, like masturbating, right? Masturbation, overeating, playing video games, things of this nature that sort of drain our energy and keep us trapped as little boys. Even, you know, I think...
Okay, let me give an example, Elliot. Elliot, you do bodybuilding stuff, right? You're very into fitness, which is great. You know, obviously that works out for you, and that's wonderful. You presumably get some sort of pleasure from these things, right? Or at minimum, a satisfaction. Like people like Arnold Schwarzenegger have said the same thing. Let me show you. Hold on. Oh God, how do you spell his name? Schwartz. Here's a clip from famous film Pumping Iron. This was a documentary that showed Arnold Schwarzenegger and oh gosh, Lou Ferrigno for like the first time on film. This was a documentary about them being in a bodybuilding competition.
It's as satisfying to me as coming is, you know, as having sex with a woman and coming. So can you believe how much I am in heaven? I'm like getting the feeling of coming in the gym, I'm getting the feeling of coming at home, I'm getting the feeling of coming backstage when I pump up, when I pose out in front of 5,000 people, I get the same feeling. So I'm coming day and night. I mean, it's terrific, right?
So, for Arnold Schwarzenegger, who I assume, Elliot being a bodybuilder, he probably sees Schwarzenegger as very manly. Schwarzenegger is on record saying that he gets as much pleasure from bodybuilding and doing that as an activity in fitness as someone who masturbates chronically or whatever. You know what I mean? So is that effeminate because he gets pleasure out of it? Would Thomas Aquinas be like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you bitch boy, stop it. You need to go inside and do something you don't like play violent video games. Because Schwarzenegger does not like violent video games, which is kind of ironic considering, you know, the movies he's been in. But my point is this, that's subjective, which is why putting labels on any of this stuff is, like, silly. And when you say something as stupid as things that are pleasurable to you are automatically effeminate, it just makes you sound like an idiot.
the guys that are like into the pickup, right? You know, chasing women, using dating apps.
He is in violent video games. He's in Mortal Kombat 11 as the Terminator.
I think that's just chasing pleasure. I think it's just effeminacy. And sex in particular is not just a form of pleasure and entertainment. It becomes a sense of pride too. So it really is a slippery slope and it's a little different than pornography and beating off because there's a sense of shame and guilt afterwards. But then, you know, you can get very good.
I'm telling you, all these no-fap dudes who are exclaiming that, like, after masturbating, they feel a sense of shame, they got some deep-seated issues. Like, if you're an adult and you still feel, like, ashamed after you masturbate, you have some issues with your own sexuality that you need to work on, because that is not normal.
At laying down these 304s, right? And that could lead to a sense of pride, and pride is fueled. Effeminacy is fueled by pride, right? Just
and certainly, Elliot Hulse has no ego whatsoever. Okay, him and Andrew Tate, they're very masculine because they have no egos whatsoever. They're definitely not prideful.
It just keeps us trapped. So this movement is away from all the things that are pleasurable and a movement into the world of the Father. And the world of pattern is the world of challenge. Is the world it's the world of struggle, austerity, breakdown, ultimately so that there can be a build up in meaning, in purpose, in vision, and dignity in your life. And so what I'm calling for here is for men to recognize this pattern. And I think that we have to initiate ourselves in a world where there are no old initiators. There's no reason to initiate. There's no true liminal space in our society. Everything's profane. Nothing really actually means anything. And so rites of passage, initiation for men, even if we do, you go to something that promotes that, or you have an experience, unless everybody recognizes it, it only means something to you, which is unfortunate, because then there's really no celebration. There's no sense of renewal in your community, because people reflect or respond to you differently because they know you've been initiated, right? These are all.
What is he even talking about? It's like he's speaking in like vague generalities because he has something to say that he can't say on YouTube or something, or he just has vacuous thoughts, because neither of these things mean anything. When he's talking about some sort of initiation, does he mean like there are certain societies that do various initiations for young men to become or for boys to become men, bar mitzvah ceremonies in the Jewish community. I know there are some tribes that do, like, you put painful stinging ants on your hands to prove that you're a man. Like, we've kind of grown past a lot of that stuff as a society. It's fine. There are informal things like this, teaching your kid to drive, but that's not a specifically masculine thing. Taking your kid to hunt or something. A lot of people in my area find that to be sort of a thing to do with your kids, but it doesn't necessarily have to be about your sons. It can be about your daughters too. It's just this idea of the severely divided, distinct gender roles are outdated, specifically because we're not hunter-gatherers. We're not even really agrarian anymore. We're people who sit in office cubicles or at home doing Zoom meetings. These harshly defined gender roles that require men to be like emotionless robots that are gonna go to war with a neighboring tribe and are gonna have to watch their friends have their guts ripped out. It's just not reality. We don't live in that world, and it's for the better. It's for the better.
Amazing things that would be available to us, if we still had this practice. But because we're so topsy-turvy and we're so chaotic in our values, and
he for sure reads Jordan Peterson.
Nobody believes the same things. It's very hard to do unless you're a part of a community. So anyway, You ask me, what strategies would you employ to combat the demon of effeminacy? First, it's
the demon of effeminacy. I need to get an exorcist in here, because boy, the demon in me is strong.
that movement away from the mother. To combat that demon means to mortify the flesh. It means to break yourself of all various addictions, all various pleasures. What comes to mind as I say that is Cole Robinson. Check out Cole Robinson, the snake diet wizard, right? He's big into fasting. He's huge into fasting. Fasting is one of the best ways to start breaking yourself from all forms of effeminacy, because food is usually our most insidious addiction. But I was thinking of Cole because he also doesn't sleep on a bed, right? He sleeps on a yoga mat. And I'm not even there yet. I don't even think I want to get there. But my point is that he's willing to challenge himself, and by doing so, setting aside pleasure. You got to learn how to set aside pleasure. You got to break yourself off from pleasure. And then that's not good enough. And that's,
fellas, is enjoying your life gay?
That's usually where most people stop. A lot of times, like right now, I think dopamine detoxes are great. Dopamine detoxes are, I guess they're trending. Like, people are doing them, and for right reason. They're good. They should be done, because we have way too much that keeps us trapped in that chemical response, that high. That's good. And it's also good that we challenge ourselves, right? That's why, lifting in the gym is a good idea. Challenging yourself, doing things that are hard, right? Like maybe learning a craft, learning a skill. And so testosterone is like a weapon.
Kitty restarted the video. Gosh dang it.
Various pleasures. And that's usually where most people stop. A lot of times, like right now, I think dopamine detoxes are great. Dopamine detoxes are a skill. Doing sports, running triathlons, just doing something that requires you to be disciplined, that requires you to have commitment, that requires you to get uncomfortable in order to reach that goal, right? Like,
doesn't your wife do a lot of physical activity and sports and stuff with you, Elliot? Does that mean she's not feminine? If these are activities that are supposed to help you be masculine, is your wife masculine? That'd be fine. I wouldn't care. I just wondering, based on your own definitions.
Let's say you set a goal of like a 700-pound deadlift. All that's good. So these are two parts of a three-part process. The first part is to break your addiction to material, to mama, to pleasure. Challenge yourself. And this is really in the initiation process. This is kind of like the rites of passage, where the older men would break down the younger boy by giving him something tough to do. For example, my brother did a Native American sun dance, which is a rites of passage initiation process that he did when he was in college. And one of the things they had him do is they put him up on the top of a mountain somewhere, right up on a cliff. They found a rock for him to sit on, drew a circle around it, and said, "Sit there and don't move." He had to sit there and stay in that circle for 4 days. They call it a vision quest.
If you want to be a real man, you gotta sit here and wait for the hallucinations to set in from dehydration, okay? Only real men dehydrate and starve themselves for 4 days for no good reason.
And he couldn't eat, he couldn't drink, and he's sitting there in the hot sun, right? So it's like something tough to like just break you down, to break your will, right? To break your will. But that's not good enough. Like I said, it's a three-part process. There's a movement away, there's a breakdown of the old ego, but then there has to be a recalibration. There needs to be a reconstruction of a new ego, a new way. And this is where in these societies, the older men would instill value through religion, through mythology, through stories.
Society still does that. Society still collectively tells stories that are meant to tell a message. And then when they do that, a bunch of chuds on Twitter will be like, "Stop putting politics in my video games and movies and comic books." The stories we collectively tell as a society still have morals. Our modern mythology, our canon of our society, is still a thing that teaches lessons. There's just a lot more of it than there used to be. So there's not one defining mythology of our age, right? There isn't like one specific religious text or anything that guides everyone within our society. We have so much media out there. We have so many stories that people basically selectively pick which mythologies, which stories and messages they want to instill not only in themselves but their families. It's just the same thing, but more.
This is where tradition would be instilled. And that way the young man not only recognizes himself, because when you get broken down and then you overcome it, you could still go back and be effeminate because you start feeling proud about yourself, right? Oh, look at me. I'm a tough guy. I did this and nobody else could do it. Or I overcame this. But it needs to be, I just want to take note that this typically happens at a time when testosterone starts rising in a young man's body. And so testosterone is like a weapon. Testosterone, that's why there's such an attack on testosterone in our culture.
Testosterone to me felt like poison.
Testosterone is like a weapon in a man, and it gives him strength, it gives him might, it gives him fortitude, it gives him virility. That needs to be pointed in the right direction. And for that to be pointed in the right direction, there has to be a sense of transcendent meaning, bigger picture. There needs to be a sense of eternity, right? That you're living for the dignity of your father and your grandfather and your father's father. You see what I'm saying? For all the men.
I am living not for myself or for my future or my loved ones. I am living exclusively for dead people, okay? Don't you dare tell me that there's a better way to live life, okay?
That came before you, that lived the journey of life the way you're about to do it. And that's hard today. That's hard today because life changes so quickly. The quote unquote progress means that, you have much less in common with your father than he had with his father, and so on and so forth. So we can't even agree on the same values. So you have to find, and this is why I've been attracted to religion.
AKA my kids don't hate gay people. Why has society done this to me?
Religion, my whole life. I've always been attracted to religion. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten more conservative. And that's why I become Catholic. Because I want to have a sense of eternity so that the things that I do go beyond this life. Because life starts to catch up on you as well, right? Like I'm middle-aged. I'm going to be 42 next week. Actually, Saturday, I'm going to be 42. So you start having a bigger picture perspective on life, right? And so when you have this, when you have the consideration for an afterlife, when you have the consideration for the state of your soul, when you have the consideration of the Orthodox like to call it deification, right? The perspective of actually becoming your most saintly self, becoming your perfect you, right? New Agers would call it your Christed self, right? This is a narrow path, and it gives you when you walk on a narrow path, right? All the mythology that the young men would learn, or the religion that they would learn, they would always offer a man a narrow path. Of course, today it's the wide path. Everything's about the wide path. Remember we spoke earlier about do what you want, do whatever you want.
Why aren't people adhering to my very strict and very, 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 very specific gender roles? People are out here being who they want to be and being happy and thriving. I cannot stand it because it makes me uncomfortable. This is what Elliot sounds like. Stop it, Elliot. You're happy with the way you live, and that's wonderful. I'm very happy for you. If that's how you find your purpose, by adhering to those very specific gender roles, great. That's awesome. I'm happy you found something that makes you happy. I hope it really does make you happy. But that doesn't make everyone happy. It in fact hurts many people who don't feel comfortable in those roles. So that's fine. You do you, and let other people do them. It's simple.
You could just zigzag, wiggle, woggle, and go back and forth down any path you want. Nobody really even cares because nobody cares, right?
Yeah, so it seems like it's a you problem. If everyone else is cool with it, and young people on the whole are cool with it, that's just you're a boomer issue. And I know the boomer thing is overused, and I know he's not actually a boomer. I'm using it as synonymous for someone who is old or getting older. I know in your 40s you're not really old. You're someone whose ideals and model of the world are out of date, and you were refusing to update it. Instead, you do the Principal Skinner meme of, am I wrong? No, it's the children who must be wrong. Like, no, that's not really how it works.
There's no sense of tradition. But when you do choose to impress it upon yourself, when you do choose the narrow path, your life starts to become molded by mortification. You start rejecting all things that would let you fall back into effeminacy, right? To walk that narrow path, there's no room for effeminacy. There's only room for being righteous, being rigid, being on that tightrope. And there's no time to slip. Life goes by very quick. I think about so many of the years that I wasted slipping, walking zigzag, right? It's good to choose. It's good to choose a path. It's good to choose something. And I'm talking about the eternal path. I'm talking about the divine path. I'm talking about religion. It's good to choose something that provides boundaries for you. A life.
Sure, people have personal moral codes or moral codes that they believe exist outside of themselves. That's a pretty common thing. That's not unique to religions, although most people are religious. That's pretty typical.
Of challenge for you, but also gives a sense of meaning to your suffering and to your challenges and your sacrifices. So that's it, man. I think if we walk that way, effeminacy would just fall away. It's a breaking down of the old man, the old boy, the old material mommy comforts, a challenge that shows you what kind of grit you got, and then a sense of meaning, a sense of purpose, a sense of divine eternity. And I don't think we can go wrong if we live that way. So I hope that helps, dude. Done.
Yo, it's your bro, Elliot. I hope you enjoyed that.
Jesus Christ. Ooh, we're on a hype train. I'll come back. I gotta pee so bad. Again, I've been drinking this, and I'm almost halfway done with it. So, keep the hype train going. I'll put on a video real quick. And then I'm gonna go pee, and then we'll watch something else, and I'll read bit messages during the hype train. Cool? Cool. What can I put on? Everything. I think it's everything is terrible. 98% of the level 2 hype train already, wow. We're back. I'm back.
Piggy banks to money markets, to
Credit cards, coins, and cash machines.
Okay, let me do bits messages.
About dollars and cents.
Tucker White says, yeah, I totally game a text-to-speech setting just to make it read gibberish. Zozo Horror Show says, my TTS is on a cut in my mixer just in case it's spicier than trolling the voice. I don't know what any of that means. Text-to-speech is on a cut in my mixer just in case it's spicier than trolling the... I don't understand. We're at 33% of level 3. Juliopa105, thanks for following. Zozo says, no way to fix this. The only place on Earth it regularly happens. Kazoo Dave, thanks for resubscribing with 3 months. Mike Max says, this case reminded me of this. Pyromancer says, the comments on the Fox News page for the story are disgusting. I'm sure they are. Morok Ben Eoth says, by Lucifer Morningstar, I'm sad now. Pyromancer says Cat Cleanse, which we used. Thank you. Cassandra422, thanks for following. Morok Eoth, Morok Ben Eoth says, making a Pathfinder character. She's an elf who can spiritually and physically fuse with an angel. Neat. Nick says, hedgehogs are the real best. If you say so. I've never been around a hedgehog, I suppose. Morok again says, what about me and my 6 budgies? I don't know what that is. Mitchell Drummer says, now do cat boys versus cat girls. 0M80 says, hashtag rigged. Bardlock Moses says, he's an insecure babyface. Bardlock Moses says, I heard there'll be a cat girl in Charisma Saves campaign too. She's not a cat girl. She's just a woman who happens to be a tabaxi cat person. Nick says, does this idiot Elliot think technology shouldn't exist since it makes our lives easier? Probably. I could see him being like a neo-Luddite type. Minute left with 75% of the level 3 hype tank. She's not a cat girl. She's not like ooh-woo. She talks like this. She is not a cat girl. She does not deal with you people very well. Part of her character is going to be that she does not like people making a fetish out of the fact that she is a cat, okay? She is going to be, she's going to be a fully fleshed out character. I don't want to hear any of your oohs. I do not want to hear any of your oh-wohs. None of that nonsense will be tolerated, okay? Level 3, I think, reached. It's not. There we go. Yep, level 3 reached. Nice. Mike Max says, a male seahorse will outman this guy any day, and male seahorses give birth. Nick says, don't forget we all eat hot chip and lye. True. Felix Night Owl says it's common knowledge that everything he is saying, he is completely making up on the spot, right? I'm not the only one that can tell. It sounds like it. That's what I do too, though. Everyone who does stuff live is making stuff up on the spot, you know? We're talking, we're sharing our opinions, but, like, yeah, you construct arguments on the fly, even if the arguments are true. What else could I put on in the background? More water. This is very yellow. Nick says, bonks Elliot on the head, not the mama. Good dinosaurs reference. Morok says, okay, as a Lakota, that sounds fishy AF. Second off, even if that was legit, I'm made uncomfortable with someone using the tribal traditions of, granted, a different tribe than mine, to make themselves more manly in this modern day and age, probably without understanding the cultural meaning of it. Yeah, there's a King of the Hill episode that's about that too. Like, Hank and them take their kids and try and do, like, a weird facsimile of a native indigenous people ceremony. It's pretty cringe. 32% of level 4. Doom Smoothie says, the only way you can be a man is to distill yourself into a vacant, miserable husk. I better stop enjoying life right away. Captain Rose subscribes with 4 months, says, the message Elliot is spreading in this video is, we should mentally abuse people into gender roles using the same tactics that some cultures use to obtain new members, or some cults, rather. Yeah, it's messed up. Ooh, got some gift subs. We'll talk about that in a sec. Thank you. Bardlock Moses says Catholics like Biden? Or Catholic like Biden. A lot of Catholics don't like Biden. Even though Catholic is Biden. Or Biden is Catholic. Catholic is Biden. Jesus Christ. Level 4 reached, wow. Felix Night Owl says, has Elliot ever told us his credentials for speaking about this wide range of topics, including gender roles, hormones, sociology, religion, psychology, etc.? He makes so many claims with such confidence, you'd think he has 10 PhDs. He's swole, guys. That's the only credibility he needs. He's got them muscles, okay? Rose Luna Shadow, thanks for resubscribing with 10 months. Pyromancer says, Bay caught me slippin'. Bitter old ass broad said, this guy is such a weenie. I used to lift before I got sick and I went to the gym 4 or 5 times a week if I wasn't fasting, which I did regularly for prolonged amounts of time. Fasting was when I was a hardcore right-winger. That was an insecure, or what an insecure blowhard. Pyromancer with 100 bits, Nick with 24, says slippin', slippin', slippin' into the future. Bymancer, thanks for subscribing at tier 3. Wow, with 11 months. Dang, that's awesome. I gotta get some tier 3 emotes. I'm sorry. We're working on new emotes. We're gonna be doing like a lupine tail emote and some other ones that'll get put. Because we're almost out of level 1 slots, and I'm gonna start slotting some of them into level 2 and 3. Clava Faustna, thanks for resubscribing with 4 months. Peach Tay, thanks for 100 bits, says, take my bits, I got a raise today and almost cried, congratulations. Pyromancer says, old crowd laughing has strong cult vibes. Doodleburb, thanks for 100 bits. Amori Miku, thanks for 100 bits, says, how long do you think it'll be until Danzy posts another Trump song? Her last video was a generic Christian hymn, and she mentioned posting non-Trump songs. I don't know. I've been trying to lay off her recently. It started feeling mean. What's a hype train? A hype train is a period of time in which people can earn emotes and other stuff by donating bits and subscriptions and stuff. Bitter old ass broad, thanks for resubscribing for 4 months, says 4 months, whoop whoop, it's forever, Hannah. Bardlock Moses with 100 says bits for hype. Skywise with 100 says guinea pigs are the real best. 74 Quinn 74 says, did you say budgie? That's the same as a parakeet. Old enough to know better now, thanks for gifting a sub. 74 Quinn 74 with 20 bits says, I own 2 parakeets and they're wonderful. Can't get along too well with cats though, I'd imagine not. Excessive Observer, thanks for gifting a sub. Andrew Patella, thanks for 20 bits. Doodleburb with 20 says, has Sausage Guy made anything new? Or 201 bits, rather. I'll have to check it out later. He's usually the ending cleanse. Captain Rose says, your pee is the piss version of concentrates, and ammonia and poor K's tab. Ugh. Futsible, thanks for gifting 5 subs to the community. I really appreciate that. Morok says, is this Bible Man? I haven't watched that since I was 9. That was Bible Man earlier. 54% to level 5. We might actually get 2 level 5 hype trains today. This is crazy. Pyromancer says, Finkel is Einhorn. Oh, let's not bring up that movie. Insufferable Effort, thanks for subscribing. Dark Cookie 23 with 20 bits. Steve with a Q with 100. And we're all caught up. Nice.
I thought you wanted to be a football player.
I do. I'll be a comic when I'm
Bardlock Moses, thanks for another 100. Let's see what Sausage Guy's doing. He doesn't have anything new. We did the liver and onion sausage yesterday, and I think he's about to do a live stream with a grilled cheese sausage, which is probably good. Minute left on the level 5 with 57%. We're very close. Very, very close. I'm a scat man. Doobity-bop. Doobity-boop-boota-bop. What's the like-dislike ratio on Lindsay's new video? It's actually pretty good. Okay.
So last week I was in a restaurant in North Carolina, and we were sitting at the bar, and the owner was sitting right there because they were about to close, and my mother starts talking.
Jody Girl, thanks for 161% with 30 seconds left. We're going to cut it close, but we might not. The Tabaxi my wife wanted to play as, the Tabaxi my wife ended up playing. It says here you're a bitch. Sounds about right. Bardlock Moses, thanks for 100 bits.
Talking to her, and somehow or other the owner
Hey, Pyromancer, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community, bringing us to the second level 5 hype. Did we get level 5 actually in the first hype train? I don't remember. Either way, this is a level 5 hype train. Much appreciated. Thank you. Jody Girl with another 100. Thank you. Felix Night Owl with 50. Is that 2 level 5s in one stream? That's really, really good. You guys rock.
looks at me and she's like, well, what do you do? And, you know, I wasn't about to tell her I'm a YouTuber. So I was like, I'm a writer. I mean, I am, technically. And she's like, well, what do you do? So I told her my name, and she's like, I'm going to Google you. And I was like, okay, but I'm super canceled right now. And she, like, laughed and clearly thought I was kidding. Or maybe didn't know what that meant.
Bitter grin,
you know,
thanks
knew
for
it in
20
some,
bits.
like, right-wing way. And then she, like, Googled me and, like, started laughing because the first thing in the, you know, like, the questions people ask is, why is Lindsay Ellis canceled? And I mean,
I don't know what Lindsay did legitimately either. I just want to put that out there. I have no idea what Lindsay did.
Why indeed?
I don't keep up on Twitter drama typically.
Indeed. But before I get into this, I need to lay some groundwork. Ladies and boomers of the jury, here you go. Canceling is a public shaming of a member of a community for some violation of that community's standards by other members of that community. But the term actually originated with a 1981 song called Your Love Is Cancelled by the band Chic. The song was inspired by a bad date guitarist Nile Richards went on at the height of the band's success, wherein his date behaved in a way that he felt was presumptuous and unacceptable, which really turned him off.
Welcome, Wow Moose Wow. Is this gonna ping copyright? No.
Basically, it was inspired by this idea: any potential future we might have had, any potential love that might have developed, canceled. The song was not a...
She compared The Last Dragon movie to Avatar: The Last Airbender. Why was she canceled for that? I don't know anything about the Last Dragon movie.
Hit at the time, but...
Let me see. Doodleburb says it was her take on Raya in The Last Dragon movie. She said it was like Avatar: The Last Airbender and that it needed its own genre or something. But the wording sounded racy, and Asian Americans tried to explain to her that she doubled down. Okay, yikes.
It stuck around, and over the decades, the term, as used in the song, started appearing in other pieces of art and music, including in songs by rappers like 50 Cent and Lil Wayne, until eventually gaining popularity in the vernacular of Black Twitter. In this original vernacular use, declaring someone or something canceled was not really an attempt to, like, instigate a boycott or hold someone to account, but more of a personal decision, not unlike Chic's original song, canceling them in the television of your mind. So to cancel someone wasn't a call to deplatform, it was more just saying, you stepped out of line, so I'm done with you. Like when the city of New York canceled Mayor de Blasio for eating pizza with a fork and knife. Which, to be fair, is the only reason to criticize the man. The connotation of this term with callouts and deplatforming didn't happen until a few years ago, as Me Too began and callouts did lead to some powerful people actually losing things. According to Washington Post writer Clyde McGrady, as callouts led to greater consequences,
made a bunch of poor takes on people of color movies, and then her past bad trans and bisexual jokes came up, as well as her horrid joke about Harriet Tubman fanfic with her master. Oh yeah, I imagine she had, it looks like she has a whole section of the video maybe talking about some of her past yikesy shit. A lot of it, not necessarily all of it. Again, I'll have to watch this video in my own time, because I'm certainly not going to sit here for 2 hours and watch this with you guys. But I would imagine she probably goes over some of the stuff, especially stuff she probably did with Channel Awesome when she wasn't, let's say, wasn't as woke. I don't know. All right, for the final segment today, I thought it would be fun to take a look at Conservapedia. Conservapedia, for those of you who don't know, is the right-wing answer to Wikipedia, because apparently democratizing information doesn't work out well for conservatives because reality isn't their strong suit. So let's take a look at what they got going on. Now, here's what we're going to do for the Conservapedia readings, okay? What would you like us to look up on Conservapedia? There's a whole list of popular articles: video games, globalism, Second Amendment, Garden of Eden, gun control, chess, the Bible, Hollywood values, Ronald Reagan, totalitarianism. I want chat to tell me, what exactly do you want us to take a look at on Conservapedia? Look up femboys? I would love to look up femboys. Should we look up femboys? I don't think they're going to have an article on femboys, but we can try. Is femboys one word? They have nothing on femboys, unfortunately. Conservapedia, someone write an article on femboys, okay? You're behind the times. Beta males. Let me see if beta males is on here. Beta male. Oh no, beta male is on here. It's a very short article, so we can take a look at this and then look at some other ones. A beta male is a term derived from the designation for beta animals in ethology. The term has been frequently used in the manosphere along with its counterpart, alpha male, designating males that are not beta. A beta male is an unremarkable, careful male who avoids risk and confrontation. Beta males lack the physical presence, charisma, and confidence of the alpha male. Beta males are sometimes referred to as soy boys, who completely lack all necessary masculine qualities. This is usually achieved by some overindulgence of emasculating products and/or ideologies. The origin of the term derives from the negative effects soy consumption has been proven. It's not been proven, guys. It's been debunked many times. To have on the male physique and libido. The average beta male or soy boy is a feminist, non-athletic, and likely reduces all his arguments to labeling his opposition Nazis. Can I just point out, impressively, this Wikipedia-style article has a stunning 0 citations. I don't even think Wikipedia would let you have an article with no citations. Jesus Christ. Alright, let's see what else we can take a look at. Any other suggestions from the audience? What do you think? Cat girls? Cat girls? There's no way there's an article on cat girls. Why are you obsessed with cat girls and cat boys and shit? Flat Earth. Let's see if there's a Flat Earth article. The flat Earth idea is a primitive concept of the Earth as a plane or large circle. The flat Earth myth is an example of liberals trying to rewrite history to slander Christians. I'm sure there are some left-wing flat earthers out there. They probably exist. In my experience as someone who covers conspiracy theorists often, I've not met a left-wing or even centrist flat earther. Every single one I've ever come across is either right-wing or completely denounces politics altogether and claims it's all just a sham and everyone's the same. So then it's just them talking about how flat Earth is bullshit, which is good, because it is. Let me pick an article that you would think would not have anything in it that's questionable, and we'll see what... Doctor Who. Do they have an article on Doctor Who? Let's see. Doctor Who. They do have an article on Doctor Who. That's why I like Conservapedia as a funny thing, because even innocuous articles about shit like Doctor Who tend to get very strange very quickly. So let's take a look. Doctor Who is a BBC science fiction television program originally created in 1963. It centers around a character named the Doctor who travels around the universe in a time machine called the TARDIS, Time and Relative Dimensions in Space, which is supposed to be able to change appearance, but due to a glitch only does so in early episodes. Hold on. I'm sorry. Actually, the Sixth Doctor briefly repaired the chameleon circuit during his tenure. It turned into, an antique clock and, a piano, and then, it broke again. Sorry. Haven't done the actually glasses in a while. But due to the glitch, only does so in the early episodes and eventually appears as a 1950s police telephone box and is considered larger on the inside than it is on the outside. And actually, it doesn't do so in the early episodes. In the early episodes, it's already a police box. It's a police box in the first episode. It's already broken, and the Doctor says that in the first episode. It doesn't get fixed until the Sixth Doctor as a gag that they do a couple times. Which makes me feel like the person who wrote this doesn't watch Doctor Who. I could be wrong, though. It's like they looked at the Wikipedia for Doctor Who and then just tried to copy as much as possible, but not quite, so they're not plagiarizing. I don't know. The program ran for 26 seasons between 1963 and 1989, along with 2 Doctor Who feature films made in 65 and 66, which are not canon, but sure, at which point it was cancelled indefinitely. Various forms of the series continued after cancellation, with popular series of novels published by Target and then BBC Books, along with audio serials and re-releases of past episodes on VHS and DVD. A Doctor Who TV movie, a British-US-Canadian co-production, was produced in 96 by BBC Worldwide, Universal Television, and Fox Broadcasting Company, and aired on Fox that year. Since 2005, a new series has been produced by BBC Wales, with the first 3 seasons of the revival co-produced with the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. The Doctor has the ability to regenerate when his body is mortally weakened, a useful plot device that has allowed the role to be played on TV by 13 different actors so far. The current showrunner is Stephen Moffat. However, in January 22nd, 2016, it was announced that he'll be replaced by Chris Chibnall. Ooh. This Doctor Who article is 2 years out of date, at minimum. 3 years. No, this is 3 years out of date. Jesus Christ. Let's see political and social themes, because I would imagine that's basically the only time that... I don't know what other bullshit might be in here, but we're gonna go with the political social themes because this is Conservapedia. Several stories in the series have been subtly or overtly political in their themes. Several stories in the series? Holy understatement, Batman. For instance, The Green Death emphasized the dangers of pollution in big business, while the following year's invasion of the dinosaurs featured a contrasting menace, pro-environment extremist. Other stories have taken their themes from current news stories of the time, such as the UK's entry into the common market. Many of these pro-liberal stories came during a period where the show was produced by Barry Letts, whose heavily liberal and environmentalist views shaped a lot of stories in the 70s. Apart from this period, the original series did not have a particularly heavy political leaning, and in fact, The Sunmakers in 77 was a conservative story told about the dangers of heavy taxes and overtly complex governments. In a recent episode, The Daleks... That's from 2005! The Daleks is a 16-year-old episode! What do you mean, a recent episode? The Daleks' most recent enemy, a race of creatures who are physically shriveled and weak, but who are contained within an armor-like tank body, take over Manhattan. Oh, no. The Daleks is from either I think it's the 3rd season, so that would probably be 2006, probably 2007, if I had to guess. Around there, so a little bit later. So more like 14 years old, but that's still not recent. They ruthlessly exploit workers engaged in construction and repair on the Empire State Building. This was reported in the liberal British paper, The Independent, as a metaphor for the rampant abuse of capitalism. The lead writer of Doctor Who, Russell T Davies, is known for aggressively promoting the homosexual agenda in his show. In his prior show, Queer as Folk, and continuing to promote it in Doctor Who, despite the fact that the show is supposed to be geared toward a young audience. Guys, did you know that gay people exist and children are not allowed to know about it? Because we're a secret. With many openly homosexual or bisexual, or as the show jokes, omnisexual due to relations with aliens, characters, including the lead of a spin-off, Torchwood, Captain Jack Harkness, Davies' attitude has been contrasted with that of John Nathan Turner, the final producer of the original series, who, while being publicly known as a homosexual, never allowed this to overtly influence the stories written while he produced the show. Oh boy, Conservapedia definitely is like, okay, you can be gay in your bedroom, but don't ever talk about it in public. Jesus Christ. At the same time Matt Smith took over the lead role in the show, Russell T Davies was replaced as lead writer by Stephen Moffat. While homosexual and bisexual characters still appear in the show since Stephen Moffat took over, they do so in a more realistically low proportion. Oh god. And less attention is drawn to their sexual orientation than it was under Russell T Davies. I cannot agree with that statement. Oh. Madame Vostra, anyone? 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 Okay. As in a smattering of characters who happen to be homosexual as opposed to a high proportion of characters for whom their sexual orientation is their primary feature. In Stephen Moffat's 51st century, the church has changed a lot, becoming more of a spiritual military force. Most church soldiers hold the rank of cleric and fall under the command of bishops, all dressed in rather standard military uniforms. Most members of the church are given a sacred name, such as a biblical name or that of some saint, although the also militarized Anglican denomination allows members to have descriptions rather than names, such as the thin, fat, gay, married Anglican Marines, who jokingly ask why they would need names with such a descriptive title, the individual men being known as the thin one and the fat one. That wasn't... I think they misinterpreted that scene. They were making a joke. But okay. This would appear to indicate that in the fictional future of Doctor Who, the Anglican denomination and possibly others have accepted same-sex marriage. It's so funny that out of all the things they could talk about in the 50-something years of Doctor Who, they're talking about, like, one of the least substantial story arcs. Like, Demons Run's fine, I guess. I just don't really care about it. Search for Pokemon. We can look for Pokemon in a minute. In recent years, the show has taken a somewhat progressive feminist turn. In Season 8, character named Missy, played by Michelle Gomez, was introduced. It's revealed that Missy is actually the Master, marking the first time in the show's history that a Time Lord has regenerated into a Time Lady. Prior to casting Peter Capaldi as the 12th Doctor, it was rumored that the 12th Doctor may be a woman. The issue has become somewhat controversial, with showrunner Stephen Moffat supporting the concept, while former Doctor Who actors such as Peter Davison and Alex Kingston think the Doctor should remain a man. Popular culture, Doctor Who is one of the known cultural phenomena in the United Kingdom, blah, 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 blah. You get it. Focusing on very strange things, huh? Weird. Okay, let's look up Pokemon, and then we're probably going to call it a night. Also, start giving me ideas for this video. Like, what I should call it. Because I want going to Conservapedia and looking at their articles to be a regular thing. But I need, like, a title, a name for that series. Like how we do Right-Wing Cope. What is this segment called? Copepedia? Is that good? Copepedia? No? What do you think? Yeah, see, Urban Heat had the same idea. Okay. Chudopedia, that's also good. Pokemon is a highly successful Japanese franchise that was introduced in the 1990s. Owned by Nintendo, it has risen to become the second most successful video game franchise behind Nintendo's own Mario. It spread to several other countries in a short time. The series focuses on capturing, training, battling, collecting, and trading various monster species. known as Pokemon. While the mechanics vary from incarnation to incarnation, the player generally takes the role of a Pokemon trainer seeking to capture wild monsters, raise them, and defeat other trainers in duels using the captured monsters in order to become a champion. In Japan, Pokemon is referred to as Pocket Monsters. The name was changed in North America due to another franchise called Monsters in My Pocket. Pokemon is a romanization of Pocket Monster, rather. Sorry. Pokemon was originally released in Japan, blah, 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 blah. Do they say anything bad about this? It sounds like a just normal article so far. Players take the role of a Pokemon trainer, evolve twice, only given other people. Battle with wild Pokemon, match against another. Yeah, this is just a dry description of Pokemon, which is fine. At least this one. I'm surprised there isn't like a thing in this, like decrying evolution in Pokemon. I know that was a thing in the 90s. Some Christians being like, it's promoting evolution, because they call it evolving in Pokemon, even though it's not really evolution in the scientific sense. Worst liberal movies. Let's see what the worst liberal movies are, and then we'll call it a night. Is there an anime article? We can read the anime article next time. Worst liberal movies. This is just a list of worst liberal movies and why they're liberal. I'm just going to selectively pick some along the way, okay? Alien franchise. This pro-feminist, anti-capitalist film franchise was originated by atheist Ridley Scott. The first film was proven to be alarmingly similar to 1965's The Planet of the Vampires, but since it fitted the left's agenda, they didn't care and gave it biased reviews anyway. The second film, Aliens, is an anti-Vietnam statement, and just like its predecessor, copies another previous feature, in this case, the 1954 film, Them. Is Conservapedia's stance that Vietnam was actually really good and a great thing? Because that's an interesting stance to take in 2021.
Mother, I have fallen off.
Oh, God. American Psycho. Don't be fooled by this false patriotic title. It's called American Psycho. Do you understand how the word psycho describes the word American? Do you think anything with the word America in it is pro-American? Don't be fooled by this false patriotic title. It's the most anti-American film you'll ever see because it attempts to pass an investment banker off as a secret serial killer. You heard it here first, folks. The most American thing you can be is an investment banker. Borat. Liberal shock jock Sacha Baron Cohen falsely portrays American conservatives as uneducated racists. I mean, he puts a camera in front of people and has them talk. What do you think? Borat 2. Sacha Baron Cohen goes a step further, making a pro-Biden propaganda film. I don't know if he did it was more just anti-Trump. But okay. He tries to blame COVID-19 on Donald Trump and falsely accuses him of being a fascist. He makes matters worse when he harasses patriots like Mike Pence and Rudy Giuliani and falsely portrays them as pedophiles. Cool. Go watch Borat 2 if you haven't. It's pretty good. A Clockwork Orange. One of Stanley Kubrick's films. Revels in sex and violence and mocks Christian prison education. Depicts police as thugs recruited from street gangs. Doctor Strange or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Loosely based on Peter George's 1958 thriller novel Red Alert, this black comedy is against war, the military, and nuclear weaponry and tries to downplay the seriousness of Cold War fears of a nuclear apocalypse. The point. Frost Nixon. As implied by the title, it attempts to further tarnish the reputation of Richard Nixon. His criminality, I think, did that in and of itself, but okay. Love, Simon. This coming-of-age film is an attempt by Hollywood to create a family-friendly pseudo-conservative take on the pseudo-conservative take on the gay romance genre. I've not seen Love, Simon. What is in it that they're saying is pseudo-conservative? Well, in theory, this sounds less objectionable than most offerings of this kind. It could also be considered more deceptive and dangerous. This is because it obscures the uglier, raunchier aspects of the gay lifestyle in order to create a very misleading, heartwarming fantasy of gay life and relationships. Gross. The Matrix. A hacker discovers his world is a replica of the world as it was before a cataclysmic future event in which intelligent machines took over humanity. So he joins a resistance to end the machine's reign. Despite a salvation narrative, the whole trilogy glorifies anarchism and nihilism. Even including a brief nod to Jean Baudrillard's On Nihilism chapter from Simulacra and Simulation, hinting several times towards the pro-communist, anti-American, anti-Christian view. Oh boy, wait till they hear about the trans metaphor. The second film's architect scene tries to give a devastating critique twist to salvation myths, with the architect as a malevolent allegorical substitute for the Christian God. In the same scene, a panel of screens implicitly compares George W. Bush to Hitler during a discussion of evil in the world. I don't remember that. And it features wars and conflicts specifically involving America. In fact, far-left race-baiting scholar Cornel West was hired to play a role in the film, specifically because the Wachowski sisters, I had to correct that, as they were known at the time. I hate when they use that as an excuse to misgender people. Were influenced by his pro-socialist, communist, anti-American rhetoric. The film's throwaway dialogue between the main villain Agent Smith and the treasonous freedom fighter Cypher is a shallow attempt at insulting Ronald Reagan, because Smith implies that Cypher will become the next Ronald Reagan should he succeed in betray— What? What the fucking hell? Okay, moving on. Mulan 2020. Ooh, my voice is getting dry. The live-action remake of the animated film of the same name, it ends up doubling down on the feminist rhetoric of the original. Honestly, I disagree. I hated the Mulan remake, and I thought it made the, feminist messaging so much weaker. It gave Mulan magic powers, and instead of being about just, the empowerment of her ability to go and take initiative for her family, it was, well, she's got magic powers! Implies big government is good, and is particularly infamous for being a blatant example of Disney's current management hypocrisy, where they refused to do business over Georgia, yet not only worked with China to develop the film, including censorships, but also went as far as to specifically cooperate with various departments of the Jinping province that held authority over concentration camps. The lead actress for the film even sang praises for the Communist Party during the latter's crackdowns on democracy, demonstrators in Hong Kong during filming. Agree on that one. That stuff's fucked up too. Return of the Living Dead. In another standalone sequel to Night of the Living Dead. Not really. Night of the Living Dead, or Return of the Living Dead, is not an actual sequel to Dawn of the Dead or no. Okay, this is actually complicated because a producer on a producer on Night of the Living Dead ended up having some sort of legal disputes with Romero over some stuff. So that producer ended up retaining the rights to the term of the Living Dead in a movie title. So he brought that over and produced The Return of the Living Dead, which makes reference to Night of the Living Dead, but it's not an actual sequel to that movie. It references that movie as a movie in the universe of Return of the Living Dead. Does that make sense? Okay. It's not Romero canon. Yeah. And don't start bringing zombie and the zombie movies into this, which are Italian. That whole series has got complicated stuff going on. RoboCop. Left-wing smut peddler Paul Verhoeven's failed attempt to depict all police forces and corporations as evil. It also contains an environmentalist message with the 6000 sucks, a car that pollutes and guzzles gas for no other reason than to be environmentally unfriendly. Have you ever seen Right-Wing Idiots Rolling Coal? Verhoeven is also a member of the Liberal Jesus Seminar, which also inspired him to make the movie grotesque parody of Christ's resurrection. I don't know what that's. Oh, he thinks that RoboCop is Jesus. Gotcha. Short Circuit. On top of just being a blatant E.T. ripoff, Short Circuit also downgrades the military or the Reagan administration in general. Do they mean denigrates? Downgrades seems like a weird thing there. Yeah, they're putting Nazi propaganda films on this list of liberal films, which is not where those belong, if you know anything about Nazis and their political leanings. They live. Capitalists are portrayed as evil aliens planning to rule the world. The director John Carpenter also claimed in interviews that the film was anti-Ronald Reagan. I don't think you need the interview to see that, if you've seen They Live. Socially liberal live-action films. The Big Lebowski glorifies drug abuse, laziness, and nihilism. The nihilists in that movie are antagonists. Say what you will about nihilism, dude. At least it's a fucking ethos. Boogie Nights, my favorite movie, Boogie Nights. A young man's journey through the pornography industry in the 70s and 80s and glorifies the exploitation of women. Have you seen Boogie Nights? It most certainly does not glorify the exploitation of women. Jesus Christ. Breakfast Club, what masquerades as a drama comparing the similar personalities of 5 seemingly very different teenagers in a school detention, really promotes the use of drugs, smoking, and, gasp, extramarital sex, although it does contain the conservative quote, "You ought to spend a little more time trying to make something of yourself and a little less time trying to impress people." It's said by the main villain of the movie, the high school principal. Jesus Christ. Ooh, But I'm a Cheerleader, which is a good movie. A lesbian public school cheerleader is attracted to other cheerleaders, portraying homosexuality as a legitimate... I thought the beginning of... Maybe it's been... I haven't seen But I'm a Cheerleader in a long time, but I thought it was a case of misunderstanding that led her to get sent to this camp, and then she sort of starts experimenting. Maybe I need to watch that movie again. I guess I don't know. Oh god, Captain Marvel. Based on the eponymous Marvel Comics superheroine and set in 1995, the 21st installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe follows Carol Danvers as she becomes Captain Marvel after Earth is caught in the center of a galactic conflict between two alien civilizations. In contrast to the rest of the film series up to this point, Captain Marvel is explicitly feministic. One example showing deleted scene with Captain Marvel threatening a man for mild flirting, including smile for me and stealing his belongings. Harassing this woman is mild flirting, right, guys? During an interview, Captain Marvel's actress Brie Larson shows some sexism and self-loathing racism by saying that she won't accept reviews about the movie from white men, even though she's white herself. That is not what she said. There's a reason there's not quotes here. The film was also notorious for Disney and Marvel going to extremes to ensure it had any chance at the box office, including forcing theaters to make it the single showing for a week, as well as having Rotten Tomatoes remove it removed negative reviews because it was getting review bombed by Chuds who hadn't seen the movie, struggling at the box office. It made $1.128 billion. It's the 23rd highest grossing film of all time. They just cannot wrap their heads around a female-led superhero movie being popular. Clerks. Filled with constant vulgar profanity, previously rated NC-17 before appealing for an R rating. That's all they have to say about it? Okay. Django Unchained. Quentin Tarantino's Western gratuitously uses graphic violence and the N-word. Because conservatives hate the N-word, don't they? That's certainly not on this list for its depiction of retributive justice for slave owners. Okay, I can't go through this whole list. Godzilla's on this list? Okay. I can't go through this whole list. Maybe we'll revisit another time. But that's, I guess, the first episode of Copapedia. So that's fun. We'll revisit Conservapedia many times in the future, I would imagine, to check out what these weirdos are talking about. Saved to Chuds. Let's do bit messages, and then we will move on by rating someone. What cleanse did you send me? I don't remember. I don't know if I opened it. Send it again, I guess, if you have it. Let me do bit messages real quick. It made me download it. What is this?
Mother? Mother?
Hold on. Let me do bit messages first. Felix Night Owl with 50, Bittergrin with 20, Lilgarth with 50. She goes all over this in 1 hour, 40-minute video. Felix Night Owl says, what's your go-to medieval weapon? Mace, axe, sword, flail, daggers, bow, staff, spear, bow. I mean, if we're assuming that I have proficiency in this, I would say bow. But I don't have proficiency in any weapons, so it doesn't really matter. I'll die either way. Nick says, look up the best of Public. It's a classic anti-intellectualism. Okay. Another time I will. Pyromancer says furry. Mike Max says Democrats. Mike Max says COVID. These were all suggestions for the thing earlier. Overthought says checks footnote. My cousin Ronnie. Magic Lad says homosexual agenda is an article. Maybe we can find out what they actually think it is. Yes, we should check it out sometime. Amori Miku says the first 2 paragraphs of the Isaac Newton article are a wild ride, I bet. Tucker White, thanks for resubscribing for 8 months in a row. Zozo Horror Show with 20 bits says, relevant to the Doctor Who and social issues. Oh, I didn't click it, sorry. Pyromancer says, dumpster diving. Overthought says, jumping off the knowledge. Comrade Devin says, look up the BFF article, trust me. Another time. MMO Addicted says, how about we go the sarcastic way, the right point of view. Nick says, defending the Vietnam War to own the libs. Nick says, remember when conservatives, can't use that word, for big business, Pepperidge Farm members? Comrade Devin says, you should raid Mason the Robin. It's his birthday. Perhaps.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism.
MMO Addicted says, fun fact, only one TV station calls the Wachowski sisters
We have another problem.
sisters in Poland.
Opening the airlock was the station plan.
Oh, yeah. It's capitalism in space. I can't play that. Nick says, it's hilarious how they have 2 Nazi propaganda films on the worst liberal movies list when they complain about lefties calling everyone they disagree with Nazis. They Live, Run, Hide, Fight. Tea with Goblins says, F, I overslept and missed the stream. I'll watch the VOD later, have some biddies, and please continue being awesome, Hannah. Oh, thank you. God, it just downloads. Why does this video just download?
Mother, I have fallen off my...
Hold on. Let me switch to display capture. Don't send me things that download. Okay? Not cool. There we go.
I have fallen off my scooter and require assistance.
Timmy, look at your knee. You're bleeding.
The pavement was the victim. I am the victor.
That's a pretty bad boo-boo. Just wait right here. Let me get something, okay?
Bandage me in silk and I shall ride again.
Okay, we have to clean it first.
What's that?
It's hydrogen peroxide.
Oh.
It'll disinfect it.
Does it hurt?
No, it won't hurt.
Promise?
Promise.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe just like a little bit.
It's kind of cold.
I'm sorry, sweetie. I had to do this.
The hornets of Hades have descended upon me.
I had to, Timmy.
I have smelted iron with the Titan's touch and forged swords with Chimera's flame.
Oh, God.
But never felt the basilisk sting like this.
It stings a little bit, but it's not that bad.
Lay 2 tokens on my eyes for the ferrymen.
Timmy.
I'm fading to Elysium. I see Bartholomew.
Just had to bring the hamster up.
He looks beautiful.
Timmy, you're being a little dramatic.
I am the drama.
Do you want SpongeBob Band-Aid or a Marble Avengers Band-Aid?
SpongeBob Band-Aid, please.
Okay. Who was I told to raid? Someone link to whoever that person was. Unless I can find it somewhere.
They start shooting.
50.
I was super confused. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Ain't much for people in the States. I mean, you don't gotta hurt me like
But,
that.
But like 50 Canadian is a lot here, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. When I have no money, it's a lot.
Alright.
Sleep
Did you
Queen?
not fix
Teapot?
the-
Venus saying hello.
That was the wrong
Man, I
chat
miss
anyway.
you. Where have you been?
That's what I said. He said he was dying.
Oh no.
Alright, have a wonderful
I
evening,
believe in the
everyone.
dub.
Fix,
I
you
won't
should
be
fix
streaming
the latest
tomorrow 'cause I have
donation thing,
electrolysis. But
The
next
only way
Saturday,
that I
so I'll
can
see you
fix
guys
it
then.
is by
Have a good night,
deleting
everyone.
it and get starting a new one, and that's gonna take time. And so it's basically just as soon as somebody donates, I can turn it back on because it'll.
See,
Yeah.
50 years.